with the brick stack high. Lego Batman swoops, lighting up the sky. Legacy of the Dark Knight, looking so fine. Got that reggae rhythm, games divine. Click clack, plastic capes in the breeze. Villains trembling, falling to their knees. From Arkham's ashes, a Lego star's born. This game's so hot, it's Rasta reborn. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Rastabat cave with the brick built vibe. Lego Dark Knight keeping hope alive. Batarang snapping, built from Lego blocks. Penguins waddling, but he's out of stock. Suicide Squad tried, but it crashed and burned. Should have been like this, man, lessons learned. GTA 6, Vice City's looking shook. Lego Batman's got them shook in their books. A toy game taking Arkham's holy grail. That's the capes winning, that's the funny tale. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Rastabat cave with the brick built vibe. Lego Dark Knight keeping hope alive. Yo, Rocksteady, what happened, man? Your squad game flop, left us all withdrawn. Lego's got the mantle, carrying the flame. A brick built Batman running the game. GTA 6 calling, yo, we're scared. Lego Bruce Wayne got 'em unprepared. Jah bless the bricks, this game's the one. 2026, Batman's having too much fun. Oh, Lego Batman, legacy of the Dark Knight, shining so bright, it's still in the fight. Game of the year 2026, it's true. GTA 6 crying, what we gonna do? A Lego game picking up Arkham's crown. Suicide Squad, y'all let us down. Fade out with the bass in the Gotham light. Lego Batman, Irie taking flight.
I thought I heard the old man say, leave her, Johnny, leave her. Tomorrow ye will get your pay, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. Oh, the wind was foul and the sea ran high. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. She shipped it green and none went by, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. I hate to sail on this rotten tub. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. No grog allowed and rotten grub, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her. We swear by our oath for want of more. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. But now we're through, so we'll go on shore, and it's time for us to leave her. Leave her, Johnny, leave her. Oh, leave her, Johnny, leave her. For the voyage is long and the winds don't blow, and it's time for us to leave her.
He knows what he has to do, but I don't think he's going to do it. I don't think he's going to do it. You know? I don't think he's going to do it. It's like he wants to be unhappy. Frankly. That's what it seems like to me. When everybody in your life is telling you, bro, stop. Listen. Maybe they're onto something. Maybe they see something you don't, you know? Yeah. You got to live with the consequences of your actions if you do it like that.
You chose to broke the law.
It's quiet.
Live with the consequences.
You chose to broke the law. Live with the consequences. Yeah, this is better.
Welcome to Highguard.
I love it. How are you guys? How was everybody's weekend? Mine was chill. It's actually a crazy day here in Colorado weather-wise. The hair is also poofy as a result, because it is May.
All of this just works.
I pressed the wrong button. It is May, but we have like a snowstorm blowing in. So like Denver, I think, is getting 20 inches. Lucky Denver. The mountains, people, like some areas of the mountains are getting like 2+ feet. The whole Front Range is getting blasted, and it's a little crazy. I mean, bear in mind, it was like 80 degrees Fahrenheit 4 or 5 days ago, you know, and it's now like dumping snow on us. That's just how it is in Colorado, man. There's always one last snow in May, and it's always way bigger and harder than you think it's going to be. It's just the luck of the draw, frankly. Just the luck of the draw. Draw. I can talk. But it's still a beautiful day. Glad to be here. It's a wonderful day. The snow is really wet though. It's very heavy. It reminds me of snow in like Minnesota, Wisconsin, that type of snow where it's just heavy. Damn it, dude. I popped the cap fidgeting with it and I drew on myself. I'm a mess today. Sam Cohen, real quick. Thank you for re-upping your membership. Another day, another banger Luke streaming coming. Hopefully, we'll see. I mean, the day is early. You never know. You never know how it's going to turn out. Tell you what. Can I show you something that is like made me laugh way too hard? I saw this, dude. I cried laughing. It's so stupid. Like whatever you're expecting, it's stupider than that. But bro, it made me laugh so hard. It filled me with joy. You know, I guess sort of spoilers for a game from 13 years ago. At the end of The Last of Us, the OG Last of Us, Joel carries Ellie out of the hospital, right? It's a very intense emotional scene. He's carrying her out while guards are chasing after him and shooting at them and all that. Somebody just edited it, but if Joel had no spatial awareness, and they added in the sound effects. So every time he's... the emotional music swelling. Oh, we gotta get out of here, Ellie. Hold on. I got you, baby girl. I got you. They can't hurt you anymore. Okay, we're almost there. You're gonna be safe. Dude, it would really tie this whole thing together if somebody built a mod where, like, you know, there's an added layer of success or failure in that mission where it's like you got her out, but she's totally brain dead after all that. Anyway, sorry. Sorry, I saw that and bro, I lost it. I was like cackling. Oh my goodness. Yeah, explains her behavior in the second game a lot more. Yeah, there you go. This is technically canonical. Yeah, she acts like she has brain damage. There actually was a fan theory about Ellie actually having brain damage because the cordyceps fungus spreads through the brain. It's why it bursts out of the skull and does the mushroom thing. But there was a theory that it was actually pressing on parts of her brain that do actually track to heighten like aggression and stuff. Like, you know, there's certain areas of your brain where if you experience brain damage in those areas, it can lead to heightened like anger, lower impulse control, violent behavior skyrockets. Like John Wayne Gacy, the serial killer, experienced a brain injury when he was a child, and they think that that might have had an impact on his later in life behavior. So there's actually this theory that part of the reason she runs around like a psychopath in the second game is because she has severe brain damage as a result of the fungus. But I'd like to think it was because of this. Joel whacked her head on the side of some lockers on the way out, and maybe that's why. I think it makes sense. I think it tracks, frankly. It makes plenty of sense to me, frankly. Anyway, how are you guys doing? Yeah, CTE is another thing. Yeah, with like Aaron Hernandez. I know that was something brought up with OJ Simpson. People thought that was maybe tied to it. Who knows? Brain damage bad though. I think we can all agree on that. You know, at the end of the day, maybe that's what we can all unite over, is brain damage is bad and we should not support it. Luke going out on a limb. Frankly, brain damage, 2 thumbs down from this guy. Not a fan, frankly. Yeah, no, brain damage is bad. Yeah, brain damage bad. Luke Stevens, 2026. Yeah, I think so. It doesn't take a genius to figure out that you know, I don't think you have to be free of brain damage to realize that brain damage is probably bad for you. I do find it fascinating, though, that it can be tied to such major behavioral changes. I will say one of the guys I used to work with in commercial real estate, his dad was the prosecutor against Aaron Hernandez. Fun fact. Yeah, sure was. I'm not big into football, so I didn't really have anything to talk about. But that was like his fun fact. Whenever you were doing icebreakers, he's like, yeah, my dad was the prosecutor in that case. I was like, or one of the prosecutors. I was like, oh, cool. I don't know what to do with that, but cool. There you go. Whatever. So today we have a number of things to go through. Everything from Lego Batman. There's new AC Black Flag information. There's GTA 6 stuff. Interview with the CEO. It looks like we are in the home
Daddy_J donated 20 pounds
sorry.
through Super Chat.
It's loud.
Hi Luke, longtime fan.
Thank you.
How do you balance
Daddy.
work, journalism, and streaming while playing so many games? With 20+ hour titles, do you crunch or pace yourself? I love gaming.
I love gaming, but I can't keep up. How do you enjoy it? Well, for one, I would never call myself a journalist. So I wouldn't say that. I know what you mean, like, you know, making coverage and that type of thing. But I wouldn't call myself, or what I do, journalism. I think journalism has a there's very, like, there's guidelines, there's infrastructure, there's things that, so anyway, I wouldn't describe it that way. But how do I balance everything? Honestly, it's become a lot easier with the fantastic team I have behind me. Jacob works his butt off, Trevor, Landon, they do amazing work. They've helped take a lot of stuff off of my plate. Back when I was editing all my own videos, it was definitely a very unhealthy work-life balance, if there even was one. But now that we have a good amount of help, it's much more manageable. As for individual games and juggling that, it's pretty much like you have to hyperfixate on whatever you're playing and then double down on it. I've benefited, and like the way I kind of avoid burnout though is to always have a game or games that are just for me. Like, I like Crimson Desert a lot. What has allowed me to continue enjoying it is that I reach a point where I'm like, my content mindset with this game, I'm putting it on the back burner, and now I'm just enjoying it. Like at some point I have to do that with games I really enjoy. Otherwise, it's just always, how am I going to make a video out of this? And what video could I make if I play another 10 hours of that? Like it just is really unhealthy. So with games I really enjoy, will at some point kind of, at least temporarily, retire them from content in order to like fully enjoy them. And then there's other games that I play for fun that I just don't make videos on, that are just for me. Like I told you guys, I love sim games. I love Kerbal Space Program. I love like what was one of the other ones we played recently? Well, Nikki and we grind out Civilization all the time. We grind that out. Marvel Rivals, we actually play a lot. It's one of the games I play with my siblings, but like I don't make like hardly any content on that stuff because it's just for me. It's just, you know, something when I sit down to play it, it's for enjoying. So I think that it's important to have that separation. As for what was one of the other things? As for crunch, without a doubt, there is crunch. I mean, if you want to be exceptional in pretty much any industry, you have to crunch to a certain extent. Hopefully you're compensated for it in the form of like long-term career success or money or whatever it is, or time off in the back end, whatever it is. But if you want to be truly exceptional in pretty much any field, you have to have this mindset of like, being willing to work your ever-loving ass off. And so with you know, any type of review coverage, with any sort of travel that comes up, it is something where like you just got to do it. You got to do it. Like you can complain about it, you can be frustrated by it, but you just got to do it. Like if a game comes across my desk, like I'm expecting one game to come across my desk today. It was supposed to be here like 3-4 days ago, but it was like I'm expecting it to be here any day, and that's one where I'm gonna need to at this point crunch and knock it out, and then hopefully get a video thrown together quickly. And you know, it's gonna be a long night, you know, when that comes across my desk, but that's just part of the job. You know, why on earth would I complain? You know, boo-hoo, I get to play games, you know. Batman or 007? No. As far as I know, I think 007 probably, to be clear, I don't have any information on this, so I'm just speculating. I would guess 007 is one of those games they maybe give to people like 5 days to a week ahead of time, maybe. Batman, I think, is going to be very selective. I have it on pretty good authority that Warner Brothers is sort of scarred from the promotional period of Suicide Squad. Meaning, they are going to be very cautious, and they will try to... They're not going to be as open-ended with it as they were with Suicide Squad, where, let's just say, the narrative got out of their control. Which, is true. It definitely was not the narrative they wanted for that game. So they're going to be very, very cautious with who they give it out to. I think they'll focus on getting it to a pretty selective group. And I think that's going to be much more locked down. So I would not expect to get Lego Batman. PC specs are insane. Yeah, we're going to look at those because paired with one of the things that we'll talk about, it's I think Lego Batman looks awesome. There is one gigantic red flag that worries me. He has it. No, if I had it, I would just be like, no comment. I do not have it. We're going to talk today about the Lego Batman preview thing that they did, and discuss that a bit. Where did it go?
Definitely.
Yeah, discuss it a bit. And this was one we were in talks with them about Lego Batman. Come on.
There are Arkham elements, but it is more Lego than Arkham.
There we go. Okay. Sorry, my whole browser keeps freezing randomly. So we're going to look at that. But they did a preview event. We were in talks with them about doing the preview event. It's my understanding that once Warner Brothers did a little background research and found my coverage of Suicide Squad, they decided I was too risky to invite. Which, fair, I guess. But that's one of those things where, like, I'm not expecting Batman. I still think Lego Batman looks awesome. I am not expecting them to want to collaborate, let's say. Takes two to tango, and they're bitter about our last breakup, you know, so I get it. I get it. Frame jams required for an effing Lego. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that because I think that's crazy. But yeah, I guess we can get into it. No time like the present. Katie Cat, thank you also for the resub over on Twitch. Thanks to Loxy for my gift sub. A snowstorm on Cinco de Mayo. Bad timing for partygoers. Yeah, literally. I mean, and it's not like fluffy, powdery. People think Colorado snow. They think fluffy, powdery snow. No, this is heavy. This is like you go outside, the snow falls on your head, and you come back inside and it feels like you just took a shower because it's just wet and heavy and dense. It's a lot. It's a lot. So anyway. Is this my whole browser? All the browsers are freaking out today, dude. I don't know what's happening. They just do not want to cooperate, man. Like this one, let's see, Sam, I read that one. Good kid, thank you for that. My brother in Christ, did you say snow in May? Yes, sure did. A lot of snow too. Tears of the Dead, thank you for that. Are we looking at Dawn Walker today? If we have time, there's some pressing things. The nice thing with Dawn Walker is that it's sort of evergreen. Like, because it's not coming out imminently, we have time to like tackle it and do deep dives when we see fit. Some of the stuff we'll talk about today is like more pressing. Let's see. And then Blacksmith, thank you for the 5. Luke, did you see the new AC4 gameplay dropped about an hour or so ago? Yes, I did, and we will talk about it. We will. Okay. I think we're good. Okay. Power outage? Hopefully not. Knock on wood. My goodness, I hope not. We have too much to do today. Too much. We're too busy. I just cannot get sick right now. I cannot get sick right now. Okay, let's do this. Let's talk about the awkward one. YouTube has CPU issue using way more than normal. I mean, maybe that's part of it. I will say, I don't think you guys would have seen this, but on the YouTube backend for creators, they just overhauled like everything. So the whole like creator suite, all of the analytics, all of that stuff just got totally reworked and overhauled. I wonder if that's part of the headaches that they're having because they just updated a ton of stuff all at once. But yeah. Did I get a Steam controller? No, I don't. I have enough controllers. You know me. I love spending money frivolously. It's a passion of mine. Look around me. I have Lego sets and swords. Like, I love spending money. But the Steam controller, I just personally, I have enough controllers. Like, I don't need it. It would just be something I would buy for the sake of having, and I don't need it. So maybe, you know, if the Steam machine ends up being awesome, one comes with the Steam machine. I'll get it that way. But as of right now, I'm good. Scalpers are already putting it up at 210. Ugh, dude, can you imagine? You can't just say it, Luke. You have to knock on wood. Maybe I did. This desk is made of wood. There's two sides to every desk. That's all I'm saying. This is a lesson in remember, there's more that you can't see. You know? That's all I'm saying. There's one on eBay for a cool million. Oh, there you go. Bricked up. Hell yeah, Melissa. Yeah, well, dude, did you see that GameStop offered to buy? I just want to be clear. Like, the GameStop offer to buy eBay is so patently insane. They offered to buy eBay for like $55 billion, okay? $56 billion. They offered to do that with $56 billion in cash and stock. They do not have that much cash. In fact, the total value of all of GameStop, which is already way more than it should be, is a little over 10.5 billion US dollars. Okay, honestly, the company's probably worth like one, maybe. But like, okay. And so you might be asking, how do you pay 55 billion or 56 billion for something if you only have 10? And that's assuming you were to like literally spend and use every share of stock on the planet to trade in? The answer is you can't. If you only have $1,000 in your checking account, you cannot go and spend $100,000 on your debit card and expect it to work. Like, it just doesn't work. Loan, well, so they went to, I believe it was TD Ameritrade, and they talked to them about getting 20 billion in loans. That is less than 56 billion. And so their CEO was interviewed and asked, like, how are you going to do this? And he said, well, we'll issue more stock. Again, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that that doesn't magically fix things. Like, you can issue stock, but that dilutes the pie. If you have a pie and you cut it into more slices, which is all issuing shares is, additional shares, the size of the pie stays the same, you know? So if you double the amount of outstanding shares, each share becomes worth half of what it was. This guy's entire plan, in my humble opinion, this is the CEO of GameStop, like ultimate meme stock owner holder. I think his entire strategy was to do this, offer to buy eBay, hope that the meme guys, the meme traders get super excited and buy up GameStop stock and skyrocket the value of it so that they then are worth enough to actually buy it. But there was no strategy here.
The big deal news of the day and the rationale behind wanting to go ahead and try to do this.
eBay has the second largest commerce franchise, and there's a big opportunity to do something much larger and to pull costs out of the system, as well as accelerate revenue growth and leveraging our physical infrastructure, our focus on collectibles. Can be a much larger business, but bringing...
I've listened to this guy talk already for like 30 seconds. I would not trust him to buy a used car from him. Like, he's giving me so many red flags of, like, not only is there no plan behind this, but it's just like manipulative, like you're too stupid to understand it, when there actually is no plan. Like, it's literally, we're going to offer 20% premium on eBay's shares. Goal is to compete with Amazon. Again, this is GameStop that's saying this. They don't have $56 billion. They got a non-confirmed loan offer from TD to get 20 billion. They're still off by tens upon tens of billions of dollars.
And an entrepreneurial mindset is what I plan on doing into eBay and building something much larger.
Okay, so you've built up a stake in this company already. You've had conversations with the company. You've tried. What's happened here?
No.
They offered this unsolicited out of nowhere. And you can see GameStop shareholders like, what the hell are you doing?
We're just starting.
You're just starting. And one of the questions I had was, why not try to initiate conversations outside of the public sphere before putting this into I don't know if we're putting it in the context of hostile necessarily, but unsolicited, if you will.
For obvious reasons. eBay is a public company. There's all kinds of perverse financial incentives from the board to the management team. So there's only one way to approach something like this.
When you don't have a plan and nobody will take you seriously, just send it out and that's it. Because if you went to the board and said this to eBay's board of directors, they'd be like, bro, you don't have money. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you actually talking about? This is insane. It's like if I offered to buy eBay for $125 a share for a grand total of $56 billion. And they were like, where's the money, Luke? And I'm like, what? What? Where's the money? You need money in order to buy this. You offered us 56 billion. Do you have 56 billion? No. But I talked to somebody who said they would give me a credit card. Your move. Is the credit card going to have a balance able to pay $56 billion? No, not quite. But I can offer you shares. I can create shares, and I will tell you they are worth $56 billion. Your move. Like, that's literally the extent of the savagery of this move. It is outrageous. It is like clown level. It's ridiculous. Actually ridiculous. And he sits on this for like 15 minutes, and they keep talking to him, trying to find some explanation of how this works. And he just doesn't have an explanation, because there is no explanation. It's literally, they made an offer and they're just hoping somehow the magic numbers work. And this is like the problem with meme stocks, is that it's not, the companies aren't being valued on what they're actually worth. They're being valued on the meme. And so it doesn't actually mean anything at this point. So he's like, well, if we just hype people up for one reason or another, they'll buy our stock and inflate the price, and then we can do this. It just doesn't work.
I don't know all the details of your compensation package. Maybe you can clear it up for us. If you get to a larger market cap by taking two smaller market cap companies and merging them together, or swallowing a much bigger market cap company, does that count? Because those shareholders wouldn't necessarily see the same gains that they would if you just grew market cap by, growing operating earnings. I don't know what the details of your compensation are, though, directly. Does it matter if you swallow a bigger company and that's how you get the market cap, or do the shareholders actually have to see the same gains?
I don't benefit, and I'm aligned. I'm aligned with shareholders. So, and unless our market cap increases substantially, and
this is the other thing, his pay is based on getting the market cap value of GameStop to increase to a certain level. Then he gets his stock options. Then he makes millions by millions of dollars. But he has to get the company worth more. How do you do that? By building a better company and growing it? No. No. Of course not. We're going to just merge two companies. It's like, how do I make my house worth more? Make it better? No. I'm just going to get the house next door, and we're going to squish them together and say that they're now one house. Checkmate. Like, that's literally what they're doing. If this does not scream like, not just, I don't even know what the word is. It's like insulting the intelligence of everybody involved to think that people can't see what's happening. He wants his paycheck by extending the market cap of GameStop. He can't do it by just building a better company. So he's trying to reach out to eBay. And bear in mind, this isn't a merger, because a merger would technically create a new legal entity, at least in most cases. He doesn't want to do that. He just wants to get eBay's 50 billion added to the 11 billion. And then he can be like, see, I rose GameStop's worth from 11 billion to 61 billion. I'm a great CEO, when technically nothing happened. So I don't think eBay is going to take this seriously. They can't, because there is no money to do it. I don't think anybody's going to come along and do it, because it's clear the only real benefit of doing this would be that the CEO of GameStop gets to exit with his golden parachute if this goes through. It's patently ridiculous and insane, and it's one of the most laughable things I've ever seen in my life. So there you go. It's outrageous. It's like so much stupider than it looks at first glance. It's like even worse. Okay. It's even worse. But there you go. That's I could go on that diatribe for a while. Yeah. Luke, what will you do with the 50 billion? I'll buy another eBay. I'll make another one, and then we'll just buy it back. So there you go. He talks like Toby from The Office. He talks like, I don't know what it is. There is a new trend in like finance bro culture, and then also even in like politics. I think it comes from a couple of big streamers. I won't say who, but there are some internet personalities out there who have made mainstream talking in lowercase without punctuation. And it drives me up the wall. Because it's this like, Yeah, so we're gonna go and we're gonna buy this and we're gonna do this and we're gonna try to expand our market cap by doing this and we're just gonna and I'm like, shut up. You know, it drives me up the wall because it's like so lazy. It's so late. It's not that hard to talk with a little intonation and a little flair. You know, it's really not that difficult. You just have to put like a little energy into it, just a little. You know, they say 70% of human communication is nonverbal. So, you know, that's why when you text your friends, meaning gets lost and messaging gets crossed because you like 70% of what you're actually communicating is through your eyes and through your hand motions and through intonation and pace and rhythm and all this stuff that your monkey brain has just evolved to pick up on without you having to even think about it. And this new wave of, yeah, so we're going to go and we're going to invest at 55 billion and we think that this makes a lot of sense because I'm like, get away from me. You look like if I touched you, you'd be sticky. I'm good. That's kind of how I feel about this whole situation. It feels sticky and not in a good way. So anyway, but Luke, he's cool. I did see the jacket. The jacket was cool. I'll give him that. Okay, fam. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? I'm ready. I'm so ready. We have things to talk about, my friends. We sure do. Sure do. It is time to discuss Lego Batman. New segment. It's new. And it's a segment. There you go. I should be an audio engineer. Let's get into this. So it happened, fam. We saw the tweets and things over the last week and a half, 2 weeks of the Lego Batman event that took place in Los Angeles. It was, of course, an invite-only event where they brought some people out to check out Lego Batman early and see what they thought of it. And I'm pulling up a couple of shots. Where is it? Here it is. I was trying to find Rob's tweets of it. You can see they brought out Rob, who's of course friend of the channel, super cool guy. Bunch of other people. I'm trying to see if I recognize anybody. I don't think so. It's a limited camera angle, but they brought them out. They apparently had this big Lego Batmobile. The entire thing is made out of Lego, which is legitimately really, really cool. They did all sorts of stuff here. They built a little bat cave for people to play and try and experience the game with. And it seems like it was a fun event, but the embargo lifted today. And that's what we are here to talk about, because the previews seem glowing, except a couple of people have raised questions that, paired with some of the other information that's been disclosed, get me actually quite worried and concerned. There's a couple of weird things with it, I will say, that are just kind of strange, where it seems like there is a mix and match in a way that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So if one of these guys could provide clarification, it would be helpful. I have no problem with paid promotion and going out to an event like this. If you're a creator and you're getting your bag to do coverage, that's totally fine. What's strange to me, just what hits my ear weird, is PR and ad in the same framing. Is it journalistic coverage? Is it a press coverage? Press relations? Is it press or is it an ad? Is it promote? I don't know. I just don't understand why both are there. It's confusing. But having said that, the impressions all seem positive around the gameplay, around what they've done. The red flag that I'll get out of the way up front, and then we'll look at the actual impressions individually and see what people think of it. The red flag is very, very straightforward, and it ties in with some of the other stuff we've been following with Lego Batman for a year at this point. They initially dropped the PC requirements, which gives you a rough idea of the state of optimization, how it's built, how it's running. The initial PC requirements they put up required 32 gigabytes of RAM on the minimum, which was insane. Months go by, they update it, say the minimum is now 16 gigs. Better. But when you look at the fine print, it gets weird, okay? They issued this. This was on May 1st. Behold the PC specs, okay? This is what they shared. Minimum i5 10600K, 16 gigs of RAM, a 960. Wow, okay, so minimum it can run it with a 960. That's what? Like a decade old card like that. Okay, so it's scalable. That sounds good. And then you look on the high end, it's like 4K, 24 gigs of RAM. Woof. This is a Lego game, by the way. 24 gigs of RAM required for 4K. And that's with a 4070, but okay, that's not bad. But then you look, what's down here? All of these settings, the entire thing has been optimized with upscaling and frame generation assumed. No joke. 24 gigs of RAM, a 4070 or a 9070 XT to run at 4K 60 with DLSS on quality and frame generation turned on. Listen, I think the game looks awesome. That's a poopy. That's bad. This is why I got so excited when like KCD2, they revealed their spec sheet very similarly to this. And I replied to it and I said, hey, Toby, is this optimized with like upscalers and frame generation and stuff? Is this optimized with that stuff or without it? And he's like, no, we optimize without these things turned on, running natively. And then you can add those to get better performance, but we're going to build it assuming those things are turned off. That's the same thing that they did with Crimson Desert. They optimized it, assuming none of those things were being used to hit the floor of performance. And then those types of bells and whistles could be added to enhance performance, which, by the way, is how it's always been marketed. It was always that, like, NVIDIA doesn't show in their marketing materials the game being totally unplayable and then DLSS magically making it playable, because that's not how it works. It has to have a foundation of frames to work with in order for it to avoid latency issues or horrible artifacting, ghosting, and things like that. To optimize your game from the ground up, assuming not just DLSS, like just seeing that they were using FSR, DLSS to optimize, that already for me is like, come on. To see that they also are requiring frame generation to be enabled. Fam. Now, maybe the game still looks and runs great. Okay. I think this is a game, if you have the hardware to run it and push it, it probably does run really well and look really good. However, in that post I just showed you, Game Riot, who again, I don't really understand the double tag. Warner Brothers invited them and it's PR. So press relations invite, but then also an ad. So I guess they paid Game Riot to post this, which is weird because I don't know. It's just confusing. Anyway, Game Riot posted this. They said play it on PC for 3 to 4 hours. Visually the best looking Lego game I've ever played. I would hope so. Some serious laugh out loud moments for all ages. I totally buy that. I think it looks awesome. Did hit some serious performance issues, particularly during the boss fights in open world. Bear in mind the open world, like this is an open world game. Boss fights, okay, maybe once an hour you get one of the open world. That's kind of, so the game, exactly, Mr. I'm like, you know, it's sending up red flags. Now, or I should say one big red flag, which is performance, because we already thought it was weird that they had 32 gigabytes of RAM requirement when they first announced requirements. That's crazy. And they improved it, got it on a 16 gigs. Okay, that's better. But now to hear that like they are optimizing with frame generation and DLSS and FSR enabled. Like even you see the 960, wow, it runs on a 960. Wow, that's impressive. But then you realize that has to be using these like FSR or something, because DLSS isn't supported on the 960 as far as I'm aware. So you'd have to use that and frame generate. Like, this is crazy. So performance is the one massive question mark, the one big red flag that I am going to raise and wave in the air with this, because those requirements are crazy. They just are. Okay. There's a reason people have called it out as crazy, and it's because they're crazy. Now, having said that, let's put a pin in that for now and look at what they actually showed, because they did allow some various outlets to go and try it and check it out. So let's see what like IGN had to say about it. Okay. Too many bats. 4 out of 10.
Me to say that it has been over a decade. It pains me to say that it has been over a decade since Arkham Knight launched, and we're still waiting for another truly excellent Batman game to take up its mantle. After Bruce Wayne adjacent disappointments in Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Careful, if you say that too much, they won't invite you. I'm gonna bring it up because it's funny. It's one of those things where it's like everybody knows that's what we're coming off of. I talked to somebody who was at this event actually, and they said that multiple people like that were part of the team, like the team putting on the event and everything. People would bring up like Suicide Squad and the Arkham games, and you'll see why. I mean, obviously, it's very reminiscent of the Arkham games, but they said that every time it was brought up, they got like really weird about it. Like really weird about it, which is fascinating. Like if you tried to bring up Suicide Squad, of course they would just not acknowledge it. They wouldn't talk about it. But even the Arkham games, apparently they're just like, like they don't engage with it, which is weird. Like I think there's a lot of baggage when it comes to Rocksteady within Warner Brothers right now. I think they're aware that that is a massive albatross around their throats right now, and it's like this shadow that is skewering and distorting everything that they do, especially within DC with the games. So they're hoping that this just totally changes the narrative, and I do think the game looks really good, but that whole distinction and comparison between Suicide Squad and like Rocksteady in general, the Arkham series, and this is one they seem particularly sensitive to, which I just find very interesting.
It's understandable why so many have seen Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight's counter-based combat and immediately pin their hopes on the line drawn between it and Rocksteady's phenomenal trilogy. The comparison is not unfair. After playing 2.5 hours at a recent preview event, it's clear that Legacy of the Dark Knight is something of a diet Arkham. I say that very much as a compliment. It's got a similar detailed open world, with dozens of distractions, fun mission design, and robust combat. It's just all much lighter, both in tone and mechanics, than its bigger, more photorealistic brother.
It is insane that like Lego is picking up the mantle, like literally. It is actually crazy. Zach, thank you for that 10. Those requirements are why I want to upgrade my fiance's PC, but GPU prices are also too high. The 3050 she stays with, I guess. Yeah, dude, PCs are just crazy right now. Everything's crazy right now, but yeah, I feel ya. It's just, but to be clear, if they thought it was deemed unacceptable to release with those types of requirements, they would delay it and figure it out and fix it up. The reason that they're not delaying it is because they think it's good enough. You know, that's why I think DLSS, FSR, Pisser, even, they're all amazing technologies, okay? Amazing feats of neural network engineering, okay? There's no doubting that. My problem with them is that they become a crutch upon which specifically like executives and producers can lean on to get the game running good enough through their viewpoint to release. So it's not about does it run well, it's does it run well enough to launch. And that's my problem with it, because well enough to an executive usually is not good. It's usually like, really? Like, again, Star Wars, what, oh my God, Jedi Fallen Order. Jedi Fallen Order, great game. Ran like hot donkey ass at launch. Really bad. Really, really bad. Just like it was not ready for prime time. They eventually updated it, got running way better, but it was deemed to be good enough by overusing upscalers and all sorts of stuff. And that stuff just continues to happen time and time again. And it seems to happen a lot with like licensed IP. I think for one, because they're expensive to put out, and so they just want to get the game out as quick as they can. But also because, let's just be honest, I like Lego. I like Batman. I think a lot of Lego and Batman fanboys and girls are willing to overlook some of those things just so long as the game like tickles that desire they have. And so they're willing to hand wave away performance issues if the game they get, you know, checks off enough of their boxes. And I think that even is, I mean, I think that's a natural reaction people have with things that they're fans of. But I think executives take advantage of that fandom and use it to skip steps and not give teams enough time to get optimization sorted, you know?
The preview demo featured 3 missions from across LEGO Batman's early campaign. The first had me pummeling my way through Penguin's Iceberg Lounge in search of Carmine Falcone, a pursuit based on a sequence from Matt Reeves' incredibly dark The Batman, but re-envisioned with brightly coloured ball pits, a QTE dance number, and a giant mechanical fist that punches doors off their hinges. Later, playing as the Boy Wonder himself, I balanced on tightropes and foiled Two-Face's bombing attempt in a recreation of Batman Forever's introduction to Robin. Rounding out the demo, I beat up monstrous plants in a multi-stage boss fight with Poison Ivy, whose minifigure is based on Batman and Robin's Uma Thurman.
Hell yeah.
Across all 3, I was able to see a solid spectrum of what Legacy of the Dark Knight is capable of. My exploits in the Iceberg Lounge offered the best evidence that LEGO Batman will provide for those seeking Arkham-like adventures. Its frequent brawl pits had me beating Goon minifigures into the dirt.
Oh, did you see that? Watch the bin on the left.
King Arkham-like adventures. Its frequent...
Okay, it's broken. The guy standing in front of.
Brawl pits had me beating Goon minifigures into the dirt. With
Luke, they're building it. Oh, look at that too.
Adventures. Its frequent brawl pits had me beating Goon minifigures into the dirt. With success practically assured thanks to decade-old muscle memory.
Got me.
It's never any more advanced than Arkham's baseline attack, dodge, and tap to counter system, with batarangs and grapple gadgets barely offering a deeper layer, but that core formula is undeniably one of the greatest combat systems we've ever had in video games, and it's good to get back to it. It
is true. Like, I don't know why we saw this like unilateral across the board abandonment of free flow combat. Like it is still to this day so satisfying and so good and so silky smooth. And they just like all these companies walked away from it. I think honestly, they're going to come after me. They're going to come after me. But I don't care. I'm going to say what I think. Okay. I think a lot of it. I think we would have had a lot more like Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor type games and combat systems. A lot more Batman Arkham series combat systems. Mad Max even, sure. I think, cancel me, I don't care. Yeah, cancel me, I don't care. I think it's the Dark Soulsification. Maybe that's not even a hot take. I think as Dark Souls and Souls-like games started to really skyrocket in popularity, especially with like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, certainly by the time we hit the era of like Elden Ring, years and years later, I think so many companies just started to be like, okay, so gamers just want R1 light attack, R2 heavy attack, a dodge that has iframes, maybe an L1 for parry. Like I think that the industry just saw that, was like, oh, so that's what people want now, and just leaned too far into that, and they left free flow combat behind. I will say there is a free flow combat game coming up that you should put on your list just to follow up on. called Spine. They call it Gung Fu. But basically it is a free flow combat game where you fight in a free flow combat system with guns, and it's awesome. It's pretty cool. I tried it at Summer Games Fest last year, and it's pretty baller. It's pretty baller. Of course, it's still a work in progress. When I tried it, they were still working on it, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So this is one to follow if you like these types of free flow combat systems. It's pretty baller. Anyway, continuing on.
Even in this comparatively basic form. While I fully expected the fisticuffs, I was surprised to discover that LEGO Batman successfully tries its hand at Arkham's Predator-like stealth too. While you don't need to crouch and hold back on your speed, so long as you stay out of the generously narrow enemy vision cones, you can eliminate entire rooms of enemies one by one, often through the deployment of comedic takedowns, like giving them a noogie or hooking them up to a floating balloon. While nothing I faced in the Iceberg Lounge or beyond posed much of a challenge, there are 3 difficulty options, maxing out at Dark Knight level, which turns off unlimited lives and throws more special enemies into the mix.
That's good to hear, because LEGO games often, they can get accused of just being like kiddie games, which I think a lot of the time they're certainly geared towards younger audiences. So having difficulty options to allow younger kids to be able to play it and enjoy it still, while also giving like adults who want more challenge an option. I like that. That's good.
Just towering bruisers, or those armed with guns and shields. While I didn't try this mode myself in the demo, it's the one I expect I'll naturally gravitate to when I play the final release. The Call of Arkham, even a plastic echo of it, is hard to ignore. But it's important to recognise that Legacy of the Dark Knight is more than just a shadow of Rocksteady's giant, and that's where the Haley's Circus mission comes in. Playing as Robin during his final performance as part of the Flying Graysons, it's predominantly a platforming level. And while its array of zip wires and rotating jump points are basic when compared to Mario's best gauntlets, it wasn't the pushover I expected. In its more challenging moments, where jumps and moving targets demand timing, I tripped up a couple of times due to overconfidence. There's less magnet-like snapping to secure you in place than you'd expect from what is ostensibly a kid's game. The Poison Ivy boss fight swings the focus back to that slick combat system, but its multiple phases pull you in different directions. As bloom-headed minifigures do their best to distract you, Ivy herself is able to sprout a variety of flora that all demand different tricks to avoid. Be that dodging exploding cacti, leaping over swinging vines, or yanking Ivy from atop a giant plant by using your grappling hook. Again, while this isn't particularly challenging on the standard difficulty, it's nonetheless absorbing thanks to the energetic pace and constant switching of attacks and appropriate reactions. I expect this to be particularly fun when played in co-op, especially alongside kids getting their first real taste of the bat. Things shift gears again when—
It's a weird way to say that. I heard that, I was like, Ozzy Osbourne. I gotta taste the bat, man. I gotta taste that. Yeah, I mean, even in that, we're seeing like some frame dips, which didn't look that disruptive, but that's concerning. There's also like screen tearing even in this shot here, where you can see like the pretty clean cut. It's harder to tell in an exported video with IGN quality compression, but there's little things that to me I'm like, oh yeah, that lines up.
When Ivy summons her double-headed Snapdragon, and a new set of attack patterns must be avoided, including jumping between giant leaves as they dissolve in acid.
This doesn't look eco-friendly.
I'll admit that I'm no LEGO game aficionado, and have spent little time with 2022's LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, which saw developer TT Games push further into traditional video game territory. But I can certainly say that, across these missions, I was left with the sense that this is the best feeling LEGO game that I've personally played. So far, it seems more fully formed and wider scoped than the bash around fun LEGO IP games of the early 2010s.
I will say this concept feels like a modernization of the formula. Like the Skywalker Saga just ended up being such a collectathon. I know some people love collectathons. For me, it just was exhausting. I was like, it's fun. I like the game, but bro, it's just, I fell off it, man. But seeing this, I'm like, LEGO mixing and matching like the best of Batman stories from the last 40 years with the open world adventuring of like the Arkham trilogy. That's baller, dude. That's baller.
I suspect the real key to its success, though, will be its open world. Legacy of the Dark Knight takes place in a gorgeous rendition of Gotham City, which you're free to prowl around between the main missions. Again, it owes at least a minimal debt to Rocksteady's interpretation. Its architecture. Again, it owes at least a minimal debt to Rocksteady's interpretation.
Yeah, like, I don't know if it's just coincidental. A lot of the shots, like, you do see pop-in and effects in the distance, and it's just cut around just enough. Watch the building. Where it's like trimmed around so you don't notice it unless you have an eye for it. Come on. Come on. Yeah, like right here. You see it like weirdly pops. I don't know why it's doing that. It's weird because the new model version looks less detailed than the old one. Like this has all the letters going up and down it, and then it snaps and disappears. And so it looks like as you're getting closer, it's getting less detailed. I don't understand that. But there's weird things like that where like if you're looking for it, you can start to see it. And it's just why I'm cautious with preview videos because you just never know.
Minimal debt to Rocksteady's interpretation. Its architecture, the way you navigate it, and the general moody atmosphere evoke Arkham Knight. But the wider palette of influences means there's a fun array of billboards, shops, and other points of interest that evoke the Art Deco animated series and a lifetime of cinema visions. Together, they feel cohesive, and create a very classic feeling version of DC's most important metropolis.
Careful, Catwoman. These guys didn't come to play.
While the city's
dude, even there, did you see that?
Careful, Catwoman. These guys didn't come to play.
Yeah, so that wasn't the stream. That's like actually the game just hitching. I can't wait for the Digital Foundry breakdown of this. Yeah, where it's just dropping a number of frames. Like all that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like again, when you're compressing a video and then it goes down to 60 frames, you know, it might get squished and you don't notice it as much. But
DC's most important metropolis.
When paired with the other stuff we know, which is that the system requirements are crazy,
footprint appears small
it
when
makes me
compared
worried.
to grown-up open worlds. It is generously peppered with activities and distractions. These, of course, include Riddler trophies, as well as their new sibling, the Clue Master puzzles, which, for example, ask you to seek out 3 items based on picture hints. Other classically styled options include traversal and combat trials.
Even that. Am I going crazy? Like, let me know. I don't want to be like a nitpicking jerkwad, but like, is this just me or are you guys seeing it too?
Hints. Other classic
as it goes up the stairs, it hitches like 3 times.
Styled options include traversal and combat trials.
You see that? Like right there and there. So twice.
Points by fixing the Subwayne system, rescuing escape.
Really? Yeah, I know it's surprising. Really, Luke? You don't want to be a nitpicking jerkwad? Really? I just like, it's important to be fair, and it's important to also remember that the game is in development. They have like 2 weeks. But I mean, I guess assuming, I think when this event happened, they had like 3 weeks. So it's possible this is an older version of the game. It's been patched and improved. But again, when you just pair it with what we also know, which is that the requirements to run it are shockingly high, it just gives me pause, you know? Gives me pause.
Zoo animals, and responding to the random crimes that occur across the city's many streets and alleyways. Yes, this is a Gotham with a bustling population of minifig civilians, all ready to be mugged by a supervillain's henchman.
Their fighting skills are almost as bad as their fashion choices.
And I guess I should also clarify, this doesn't matter in some games as much as it does in others. Games with combat systems that rely on tight parry windows and input precision, this affects it much more. Hitching is like a big problem. I've not played this, so I don't know. Maybe the combat system is so forgiving that it doesn't really matter. What I do know is that trying to play like a Batman Arkham game in like a combat challenge, going with 100 combo counter, you know, challenge or something, trying to do that with hitching is a living nightmare. Like, because you could get the input right, but because the game hitched, it doesn't count properly, and so you still get hit. You break your combo, and you wasted all that time. And so it does matter, especially with free flow combat systems, usually, which is why I think this matters.
While I poked around those familiar options, during my demo time I found myself more interested in the Falcone Fortune, a chain of side quests that sees you help Catwoman break into a series of apartments and rinse them of their valuables. Each property has a safe hidden behind a unique puzzle. You might need to piece together a key, spin statues into the correct alignment, or send an actual cat into small spaces to retrieve objects.
That's fun.
Again, this is all relatively easy stuff, but I love the use of Catwoman's unique abilities, from her glass-cutting claws to a wonderfully tactile safe-cracking minigame, which makes the whole event feel gleefully like cat burglary. The real highlight of the open world, though, is bombing around Gotham in one of the many Batmobiles. The driving in LEGO Batman is...
Oh, are they just not going to acknowledge it? Maybe it's the last thing he brings up. Are they just not going to mention all these frame tips that we're seeing? Like, if they don't, that's crazy. Surely he's going to bring it up at the end. I've not watched this yet, so I don't know if he does, but like just...
world, though, is bombing around Gotham in one of the many Batmobiles.
Woof,
the driving in
woof.
LEGO Batman is surprisingly
Woof.
good.
Bro, this is, again, I cannot stress this enough. This is with frame generation and DLSS, presumably. If that's the requirements, you would assume they had it running with the requirements at the preview event. Not to mention, they're probably running this on like the top tier hardware you can to make it look and run as best as it possibly can. Not what like a normal person is going to have. And so if we're still seeing this, woof, I'm starting to understand why they might not have wanted me there.
The handling is arcadey without sacrificing weight. There's a good sense of heft as you swing these Goth motors around corners.
Yeah,
and thundering
swing
through
those Goth
traffic
motors.
feels fantastic. Especially when you hammer the throttle and engage that iconic afterburner.
Throttle?
Racing time trials provide a more structured goal for Wayne's wheels, but for me the joy was in reliving the Batman fantasy of responding to crimes at 100 miles per hour. That's only enhanced by the selection of bricky replicas, which in my demo included Tim Burton's iconic 1989 Lamb Rocket, Nolan's two-wheeled Batpod, the
Dude,
roaring
I think that unironically is like in the low 20s, right? That was crazy.
muscle car of the Batman, and even the plastic monstrosity that Val Kilmer was saddled with in Batman Forever.
Bro. Okay, if he does not mention performance, I think I'm going to actually crash out. Like, this is insane. To like put the footage on, if he's not going to acknowledge it or mention it, I'm going to lose my mind. Does he? Don't tell me. It'll be a surprise.
That Val Kilmer was
Like-
saddled with in Batman Forever.
Bro.
Reports of someone both snatching and grabbing.
Not to mention like the pop in the distance, that I get it. Some people can tune that out, but bro, it's hitching. There's got to be some joke here. It's hitching like a pickup truck at a farm, man. Can you tell I've never worked on a farm? It has a hitch. That's what I'm thinking of. Moving on.
Yes, Legacy of the Dark Knight is very much equal opportunities when it comes to all flavors of the Caped Crusader. And it's this approach, rather than its co-opting of Arkham ideas, that I think not only defines it, but makes it worth paying attention to. By gluing together plastic recreations of the Dark Knight's big screen outings and retelling them in a gorgeous open world, TT Games has created what appears to be a wonderful, joyful, and significant evolution of what LEGO IP games.
Wait. No way. He breaks out the door and then watch this hitch that they kept in the video.
A wonderful, joyful, and significant evolution of what LEGO IP.
Okay, so they left that in the video. If he does not mention performance, bro, I'm going to actually crash out. Surely there's 36 seconds left.
Games have always been. Movie tie-ins that let our inner 7-year-olds, or indeed our actual 7-year-olds, relive the cinematic magic. By building atop the achievements of LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, the Legacy of the Dark Knight appears to be a new remix of the plastic brick's ambitions. And it's that which ultimately proves more interesting than its Arkham overlap. For more from LEGO Batman...
Bro, how am I supposed to take IGN seriously? You're showing me the actual footage where it's stuttering like I don't even know, like a car engine that was filled with peanut butter instead of gasoline. Like it's a bit of a mess, and you're not gonna acknowledge it. Like, you're not even gonna mention it. You're just gonna blow right past it, hope nobody noticed. Which is like, what's even more insane is that they show the footage, which the game looks good. I want to be very, very clear. Like, people in the comments are mentioning it. Performance looks sketchy. The fact that you need a 3080 with DLSS and frame gen to play Lego Batman or Lego game is ridiculous. Too many bats, 6 out of 10. Yeah. But like, you need a 4K PC if you want it above 40 FPS, by the way. I want to be clear. The game looks good. The performance looks bad. Okay. And this is where I think that there's an obligation. And maybe this is just like, at the end of the day, a fundamental disconnect between what we feel our roles are. I view like having a platform and talking about games as like a pretty serious responsibility. Because when I tell you guys a game is awesome and you should check it out, I understand that some of you are going to be like, okay, bet. And you're going to spend your money on that. So if I say something and I don't mean it, or if the game's actually really bad and you spend your money and waste your money, that's a big deal. Like, I would feel terrible about that. That's why I'm very cautious when you guys come into chat and you're like, hey, should I get this game or this game? I'm like, oh, that's a big responsibility. And so we'll break it down, but I'm like, it's a big deal. And so when IGN is coming in and like hyping something up in something that's not a disclosed promotional piece, like if they come out and say, hey, Warner Brothers paid us to make this coverage and to talk about these aspects of the game, that's fine. That's why there's disclosures. It's okay to promote something if you tell people you're promoting it, if you tell people you were paid to promote it. The fact that we can't tell the difference between paid promotion and just apparently your normal stuff is, I think, part of the problem, because there's clearly red flags. There's things that customers should be aware of before they spend money, like the performance, that's just being totally ignored, while it's also being shown to people, but not acknowledged. Like, and that's I think a problem that should again be addressed. You're showing me clips with like actually severe stuttering and frame dips. We know that the requirements are super heavy, which implies optimization issues. All of this is compounding at the same time. You're showing me footage that seems to verify those issues, and you just don't acknowledge it. It's weird. Ad for sure. My understanding is if they were paid to put this video together, they would have to disclose it under like FTC guidelines. That's my understanding. I don't know what the potential like loophole would be that they wouldn't have to disclose it. But it's just crazy to see that they just don't even acknowledge it. I think maybe part of it is that it's just like, hey, let's hype it up. Let's talk about it. Let's be positive. But I think the problem with positivity at, the end all be all is that sometimes stuff can fall through the cracks and you can end up in a spot where the positivity ends up not acknowledging clear red flags and problems that people should be aware of. There are, based on what I'm seeing, there are going to be people who buy this game on like Steam, try to play it, realize it runs terribly, and they're going to be surprised because they saw the IGN coverage that made it sound fine and they never mentioned performance issues. So what's the big deal? And because again, they're playing it at these preview events on like the best possible hardware. And so if their capture is still showing these problems, imagine what it runs like on not a $4,000 PC, but on like a $2,000 PC, a $1,500 PC. God forbid you try to run this on a Steam Deck, To their credit, Game Riot again. I think I've met the head of Game Riot years ago. I think he looks very familiar. To his credit, he actually acknowledges it and brings it up. Did hit some serious performance issues, particularly during boss fights in the open world, which is where we saw the performance hits come in, was during the Poison Ivy boss fight and traversing the open world, going up those steps and flying around and racing in the car and stuff is where we saw the problems too. So he brings it up and acknowledges it, even though the post appears to be an ad. Acknowledges it and brings it up, which again, this is the key. Disclosure is good. If you're paid for coverage and you disclose it, I have no problem with that. You got to disclose it though. And most companies want to disclose it and require you to disclose it because they're the ones that get sued if you don't, which is why it's just so weird that IGN's coverage looks like paid promotion, even though apparently it isn't. But let's see one more tidbit. one more tidbit. I wanted to see if Game Informer mentioned anything about performance. Let's see. No. What about frame? No. Is there just no?
At Dub Bendy Straws donated $19.99 through Super Chat. Hey Luke, looking to invest in a gaming PC, ideally rocking a RTX 5080 and 64GB of RAM. If I'm looking to target 4K at 60 to
if I'm looking to target 4K 60 to 120 FPS, how many console generations years from now do you think that setup will last? 5080. So my personal, first of all, thank you for the 20, very generous. My personal expectation is that next generation is going to be much more cross-generational than even the PS5 was, because I think hardware prices are going to be so insane that very few people are actually going to go and like be buying PlayStation 6s at launch. So I think you're going to have a good amount of leeway in terms of how they're building games. They're going to build them for last gen and current gen, probably into the mid 2030s would be my guess, honestly. So I personally would expect that you're good for 5 to 10 years with something like a 5080. That would be my expectation. Yeah, barring some major technological leap or something, but that would be my expectation. I think he'll be good for a long time. I think so. Yeah, you shouldn't need to upgrade anytime soon. That would be my take. I like Randy Pitchford said it's a premium game for premium gamers. Yeah, literally. I forgot about that, dude. Randy is the ultimate example of somebody that just needs to put the phone down. Like, just put it down. It's literally the South Park bit of put it down if you're running a gaming company today. Like, literally, just stop tweeting for real. He's like, yeah, we don't support AI use. Yesterday, he posted an AI generated picture of him. Like, it's just so funny. Anyway. So all of this to say with Lego Batman, I think the game looks good as a game. I think it needs time in the oven. I think it needs time to cook. Rushing it out, I think there's going to be fans that are willing to put up with it and hand wave it away and it'll be whatever. But I think it's clear that it's not ready. These requirements are wild to begin with. And the reason this matters is because in a free flow combat game, timing does matter. It literally matters. It's the difference between you landing that hit or not. I mean, it could make the combat feel significantly worse. And as we saw with the driving sections, when they're stuttering while driving, that's a nightmare. So it's just one of those things that does directly affect the quality of the gameplay experience. And it's just something that shouldn't, as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be a debate. Like, your game should be able to run steady and solid without the use of frame generation. Like, it just shouldn't need all of this. Those are supposed to be additive. Even in NVIDIA's marketing, they always show it running at a playable frame rate, and then they show like, add these features in Resident Evil Requiem, and you go from 90 frames to 210 frames. And it's always framed as additive. It's not framed as getting it to the baseline. This, though, is requiring it for the baseline, which is wild. Like, it's just crazy. But they'll do it because they think that they can, it's good enough that they can get away with it. Warner Brothers has been known for a long time to do what they think they can get away with, and I think that this is an instance of that, where they've done the calculus and they think that their audience and the audience for this game isn't going to mind it at least enough for them to justify delaying it and spending millions on the delay to fix it up. At this point, it's kind of too late, so I don't think they could delay it even if they wanted to. They've already paid for all the marketing and promotion and stuff, so I don't think that they would delay it even if they really, really wanted to. So it's kind of too late. It is what it is, but we'll find out at launch just how it runs. What I cannot get over is, again, that we see in the IGN coverage and footage, stuttering, we see frame dips, we see all of these things, and they just don't even acknowledge it. Like, even in some of the most egregious examples, he runs through the door and it freezes, dude. Like, one instance of that is not going to ruin the game. But if that's running on the best possible hardware in the best possible scenario, and these are 3 missions they specifically selected to show people because they thought it was indicative of the best parts of the game, imagine what the worst optimized parts look like. You know? At least the grass looks good. I'll give you that. And there's also a part where he runs out the door and then the model warps back in the building for like a frame. Wait for it. So he runs out. And then wait for it. It like pops in the center of the screen, center of the room for like a frame when he runs out. Almost there. See? Blink and you'll miss it. Blink and you'll miss it. If you don't have an eye for these things, thank the good Lord. Because once you have an eye for it, once you've experienced like top tier like gaming performance, this stuff drives you crazy because you see it and then you can't unsee it, man. Like you just can't unsee it. It's crazy. So anyway, Flash confirmed. Oh, what if that would actually be really funny if it was like, that's not a bug, that's a feature. That would be really funny. It's their stop motion mechanic, Luke. Oh, I didn't know. That explains it. Yeah, IGN thought it was an artistic point. Or artistic choice and added a point. Yeah, it was me, Barry. There you go. So anyway, I think the game looks awesome. Performance is a major concern and red flag for me. I'm glad to see some people are calling it out because it is readily apparent to me, looking at the footage, that there are concerning issues here. I'll do some digging. I'll ask around, see if other people had similar issues that are willing to talk about it. They may not be willing to talk about it. But this is one where if you're playing on PC especially, I would be cautious and wait until you see like a Digital Foundry analysis or something breaking down how it will actually run on your hardware. Because again, I cannot stress this enough. These events are always put up and presented specifically to make the game look as good as it possibly can, which is what you would expect. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But it's important to understand that because when you are looking at the preview, if you think that this is how it's going to look for you, that can lead to misunderstandings or you know, expectations that are off. It's why for like Crimson Desert coverage, I stressed many times, like, we haven't seen what it looks like on this console yet. We need to wait. If you're on that console, wait until you see what it looks like there. If you're running on, you know, this hardware, it's not going to look like the cinematic quality version that you see on a 5090. It's going to look different. We have to stress those things. With Lego Batman, it seems like they're playing on PlayStation controllers, but on PC. And that brings up questions of like console performance and things like that. Maybe it's way better optimized, but bro, like, this concerns me. He also just hit a woman in a wheelchair. Did you see that? See, she's in the wheelchair, dead center, plows into her. Oh, she rolls out of the way. Okay, I'll give her that. Yeah, but there's like pretty aggressive pop-in, which worries me, and frame dips galore. Like, you can see the guys popping in the street. It covers up well with the heavy compression. Watch over here. There's pop-in that's going to come up. Like, there's just a lot. So I hope they fix all of these problems before launch, because I think the game looks awesome and I want it to be awesome. But the performance is like a big question mark for me, and it's amazing to me to see IGN's own footage that has all these problems and they just don't acknowledge it, which is insane. So there you go. Real quick, Trafalgar, thank you for the 1 month re-up at the show off tier. Are you getting Subnautica 2 early access in a few days? I'm excited. Hope it's good. Screenshots look good, at least so far. I'll probably check it out. I don't tend to do a lot of gameplay in early access. I tend to wait for 1.0, but it's probably one worth checking out. Hold on, everybody. It froze for me. 1 second. Lego Batman is the new Crisis. It seems like it. Sam Cohen, thank you for that 5. Luke, have you seen the new trailer for the Odyssey? It dropped very late last night. Absolute Cinnamon Company definitely going to do 007 Batman late May. I did see the trailer. I'm going to be real. It's really weird watching a trailer for a movie about the Odyssey where they're using like modern words and phrasing. Like hearing people go like, "You're looking for your dad," you know, instead of father. Like little things like that just hit my ear so weird with that trailer. It just made me feel like, oh, like I don't know why it shouldn't bother me as much as it does, but it just hits your ear weird, right? Like you see people in armor, like, and I get it, they're not going for like historical, like 1-to-1, obviously, but it just is like weird to be like, this is the Odyssey, and then they're talking in a very modern way. It's just weird. It just hits my ear weird. Thank Gabe for that new system requirements feature. Dude, it is very nice. I'm glad that they have it. Let's see. I read that one. Thank you to Bendy Straws again for that. TT Games, more like TT Today, Junior. Well done, Tony. Well, it's a great thing for that one. If this was shown last year to release this month, there wouldn't be an issue, but the launch date is so close and it still runs insanely terrible. Yeah, well, and it's why it's all the more insane to me that I've only seen one individual that was at the preview that actually put in words that they experienced technical problems. IGN's footage shows the technical problems. The other outlets' footage shows technical problems, but nobody's saying it. Were they just asked not to say that it has technical issues? Like, it's weird, is it not? Like, you can see with your own eyes the problems, and they just pretend like it's not there. It's weird. It's weird. Should be pater? Yeah, it should be. That would honestly leave me more immersed. I would like it if they did that instead of dad. I'm gonna be a dad. I'm gonna be a pater. Luke, cancel me. I don't care, Stevens. Yeah, literally. Let's see. I read that one. Have you played Spec Ops: The Lines Masterpiece? No. Or in my opinion, I've watched like the story breakdowns and the analysis of Spec Ops. Because that's also one of those, like, I don't know if iconic is the right word, but it's one of those staple maybe games of, or maybe influential, one of the really influential games of that period. So yeah, I don't think I've ever played it from beginning to end or anything, but I've seen the story breakdowns and stuff. Okay, I read that one. Okay. Let's do this. Lego game, you need a 5090. Well, if you want to play over 60 frames, yeah. Nolan fell off after Tenet trash film. I don't know. I really like Nolan, but this movie in particular, I'm just like, a lot of the creative choices and the specifically script changes, I'm just confused by. And it's tough, to be clear. Doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter that he says dad instead of father, but it hits my ear weird, and it makes me, I don't know, it just hits my ear weird. So anyway, they were paid by Big Lego. Again, I want to stress this. I have no problem with people doing paid promotion, getting the bag to provide for their families and stuff. I have no problem with that if it's disclosed. If it's not disclosed, that's illegal. You can't do that. And my point is that some of the coverage, like with IGN not mentioning the very obvious performance issues, it makes you feel like it's paid promotion, even though nothing is disclosed, which is weird, you know? So again, I have no problem if you're getting paid by Big Lego. Frankly, I'm jealous. I would love a Lego sponsorship. Pay for my hobby and my addiction. It's more of an addiction than a hobby, if I'm being real. The problem is just when you don't acknowledge it or disclose it. You know, that's when you have a problem. But anyway. Let's see. Yeah, Black Flag we're going to look at because we do have new gameplay and breakdowns from that. So yes, you better believe we're going to look at that. We also have breaking news. New segment thing, breaking news. Asha made a move. She made a move, fam. She made a move. Xbox CEO Asha Sharma has overhauled the Xbox leadership, bringing in a new executive suite. What is this? Well, The Verge reports Xbox's new chief, Asha Sharma, has spent the past couple of months making her mark on the Xbox organization, but she just made the big move. She's bringing in her own people. The changes that they just announced will see some veterans depart, promotions, and new faces with more technical expertise to help the Xbox platform team. Jared Palmer, who used to work with Sharma in Xbox's Core AI division, is joining Xbox as the VP of Engineering and Technical Advisor to Sharma. In a memo to Xbox employees seen by The Verge, Sharma says that Palmer will work, quote, directly with me on our most complex product and engineering problems, with a focus on developing, tooling, taste, and infrastructure. Tim Allen, former Microsoft Core AI VP of Design and GitHub's Senior VP of Design and Research, is also joining Xbox to lead design. Sharma says Allen's appointment is, quote, the first time bringing together product design and design engineering, research, with a fan-first focus. Jonathan McKay, former head of growth at Microsoft's Core AI division, I'm sensing a pattern, is also joining Xbox to lead its growth, data platform, and analytics. Evan Chakai, a former general manager in Core AI, is joining a new team in Xbox to lead forward deployed engineering group focused on removing repetitive work, simplifying development, and improving how we operate. That's a lot of people joining Xbox from Microsoft's Core AI team, and it seems like Sharma is bringing over her former colleagues to give the Xbox organization a little more technical expertise for platforms and experience with things like growth and data. It's also a lot of AI experience, which is bound to sound the alarm bells with some Xbox fans. But looking at the appointments, there's no clear AI push for Xbox here. In fact, last week, Sharma posted on X that Xbox is refocusing our AI efforts to solve player problems like enhancing real-time graphics, improving discovery, and deepening personalization. That sure sounds like a lot more focus on improving the underlying Xbox software platform instead. Interesting. These leadership changes at Xbox largely affect the platform teams under former Xbox president Sarah Bond. Microsoft originally announced Sarah's departure in February, and she has remained in place as a special advisor to Sharma to help with the leadership transition. Many had expected Bond would be named Xbox chief, but Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella decided to shake up Xbox leadership with an outsider. As part of this new Xbox shakeup, Rowan Sones, corporate vice president of Xbox devices and ecosystem, will be taking a leave of absence after the summer and will be staying on as an advisor. They previously reported to Bond and helped lead the launch of the Xbox Ally devices. Kevin Gamble, corporate vice president of Xbox user experience, is also stepping down after nearly 20 years at Xbox, or at Microsoft rather. Jason Renaud, vice president of Next Gen, is also getting a promotion as part of these changes. On hardware, we're elevating Jason Renaud, accountable for Project Helix and our platform, says Sharma. It's not clear what Renaud's new title is, though. Jason Beaumont will lead the product and serve as interim head of engineering. This is an important time for Xbox. Our goal with this change is simple: build a platform that is affordable. She said the A word. She said the A word, guys. Personal and open, by staying close to the work and the people we serve. Big changes. What's interesting to me is it seems to specifically be a retooling of Sarah Bond's team. And Sarah got a lot of flack when the changes initially hit. What the reporting seems to suggest is that a lot of the brand changes that Xbox was going through were approved by Phil, yes. But it seems like a lot of the broader changes that were being heavily pushed that Xbox fans hated were being led by Sarah. Whether she was the first one to think of those ideas or if she just was following orders from Phil, it doesn't really, I think, matter that much at the end of the day. What seems clear is that the team she was in charge of building out and what she was trying to accomplish, either by her own direction or the direction of Phil or both, her team has been like largely gutted and retooled and restructured. It seems like they've grown aware that the everything is an Xbox motif doesn't work, and people actually actively hated it. So they are reworking everything, which honestly, probably a good idea. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Her team didn't like her also. Apparently she was very difficult to work with. It was, you either do what Sarah wants or you are like deemed insubordinate and you are out. Like there was no pushback. There was no, well, I hear you, but what if we did it this way? There was no like open communication. It was Sarah's way or the highway. That seems to be what It is. Now, as for the AI stuff, yes, all of these people are coming from, or most of these people are coming from Core AI, which is the team that Asha previously led. The reason I wouldn't immediately sound the alarm bells on that is because historically, most executives that come from within an organization get promoted somewhere else. They will naturally bring the people they trust and that they know directly to work with them when they get promoted. It's just like a natural thing. You know how they work. You know that they're good at what they do. So they're your first choice when you're trying to figure out who you're going to put in this position or this position. They're loyal. They're dependable. You know them already. You have a relationship with them. It's easier to do it that way instead of hiring somebody from the outside and starting from scratch. So it doesn't shock me that they're doing it that way. I still think that they're going to find ways to put AI in everything about Xbox. I think that I don't think Microsoft will ever walk back the AI push. I mean, it is what it is now. But I do think that this is more about her getting people that she knows and can trust than it is like just trying to build out an AI team. But time will tell. Time will tell. Because you better believe that they're revving up for what's going to no doubt be one of the biggest years, or I guess most important years for Xbox in their history. Because this is when we're revving up Project Helix. They've got to sell that concept to development partners. They've got to sell that concept to gamers. They have to figure out, how are they going to manage pricing? How are they going to manage distribution? How are they going to manage the platform in general at the start of next generation, which is, as we know, the start of a generation is historically the one time you have a chance to really make a big wave and have an effect on player behavior and choice for a platform. It's a big moment. It's a big time. So we'll see what they do. We'll see what they do. But affordable is the best thing I've heard in this statement. Well, it's a word that Xbox specifically has not used, and I think for very good reason, because they weren't able to fulfill it. Like, their console is not affordable at this point. Yes, they have the Series S, which is like more affordable, but more affordable and affordable are two different things. Two very different things. So I think that the fact that she's aware that that's probably going to be a big selling point is important. I don't think affordability was a big selling point in 2020 when credit was cheap and debt was cheap and there were stimmy checks going out. I don't think it was that big of a deal to have the cheapest console on the market. In 2026, I think having an affordable console is much more important to people. So while it didn't work back then, I think actually framing it that way could have a big impact now. I think it's probably too late to go and do like a redesign of Helix to make it affordable, because it seems like Helix was built from the ground up to be premium. It was built from the ground up to be like a $1,200 machine. So I don't expect that to magically drop in price. I don't think they'll eat like $500 on every console, but I do think that they will, they are seriously reevaluating their options. And yes, Project Helix S it is. If they can manage something like that, I think they definitely want to. But we'll start to hear rumblings and rumors, because the reporting suggests that they're doing meetings behind closed doors with development partners. And so soon enough, stuff will start to leak and we'll get a much better idea of how they're going to approach next gen. Intergalactic, thank you for that. Things like this make me wish I lived in the reality where Sega partnered up with Apple to build the Dreamcast 2. Dude, I still insist. Apple is leaving so much money on the table not getting involved in gaming. Like, their hardware software optimization could seriously overhaul like the gaming laptop market and could totally overhaul stuff if they wanted to. They just haven't. Maybe that's going to be one of Turnus's big initiatives. Probably not, but I think that would be such a layup for them if they were to just put a lot of effort and energy into it. Bro, they're leaving so much money on the table. Yeah, imagine the Mac Mini, but with like Steam Deck levels of compatibility stuff that they build out for it. Like, it would be amazing. Like, you could actually get to a point where, what's the best budget gaming PC? A Mac Mini. Like, it unironically could get to that point. They just have to try. And they just historically have not needed to try, because they make more money than God anywhere else. And let's be honest, the other massive part of it is that Apple just doesn't like the idea of putting all that energy in and then giving up 30% of those console or those game sales to Steam. Like, If they can have their own storefront and they get you to buy those games through the App Store, then they're all down for that. They take 30% of that. That makes sense. But they don't like the idea of putting all this effort into making gaming viable on Mac and then not getting a 30% cut. Like, they just hate that. They just hate that, you know? So we'll see. We'll see. They have a lot of work to do if they ever wanted to do it. But if they did try, I think it could make a big difference. Can you tell I skipped my coffee this morning? Luke, I have a PS5. Was thinking about getting a PS5 Pro. Is it worth the upgrade? Only if you have a massive 4K TV with VRR. Otherwise, I think you're good. $900 for a PS5 Pro is crazy. So I would not push it. If you don't, like, if you're not going to seriously benefit from it, I wouldn't push it. $900 for a PS5 Pro is wild. Let's see. Sierra, thank you for that. As a gamer, I really dislike the practice of platform exclusives. I understand the need for tentpoles, but I still don't like it. It's one of the reasons why I play on PC. It has the most exclusives. It truly does. And yeah, it's like I've said, and sometimes it gets confused. If I was the God King of gaming, everything launches everywhere day one, optimized, launch on Steam, launch on Xbox, PlayStation, whatever. If I was God King of gaming, I would do that. You know, I'm not though, and that's not reality. The reality is that Sony and Nintendo, they have to have ways of getting you to buy their hardware and buy into their ecosystem, which is why they do exclusives. You're never going to have a Zelda game launch day and date on Steam, because then why would you buy a Switch if you can play it on your Steam Deck? Like, you just won't, you know? So I get it. It doesn't make sense for them. But it's still, my preference would be, of course, that they bring it all over day one, you know? Leo, thank you for that 10. Hi, Luke. Just wanted to say the guy who trashed Tenet is wrong. It's one of Nolan's best. Also, the Odyssey trailer looked amazing. I personally am glad the dialogue is not in ancient Greek. Well, to be clear, I wouldn't necessarily need it in ancient Greek. Pater would be a fun callback. But I just think, like, for whatever it is, for whatever reason it is, the dialogue hit my ear weird. And I think it's just because usually in films that are trying to, like, it's not really historical, because again, it's fiction, but it just hit my ear weird. That's all I can say. And maybe I misread the message. I thought he said after Tenet he fell off. I don't think he was saying Tenet was bad. Maybe he followed up and said Tenet was bad. I thought the message was saying after Tenet he fell off. But maybe I misread it. Maybe he was saying that Tenet was actually where he fell off. I don't know. Anyway, I'll watch it. I'll see the Odyssey, but the dialogue just hit my ear and I was like, what? That's weird. Okay. I want to talk about this. Let's do this. Close. Which do we do first? Oof. Should we look at one of the cringiest articles I've ever seen in my life, or Black Flag gameplay first? See, Black Flag. Gotta wait for the delay to catch up. Cringe time. No, amazingly not. It's not IGN. Yeah. Both. I see a lot of Black Flag. We can do Black Flag first. We'll do Black Flag first. We can do that. No, it's a guy that was crashing out over 007. And it's like legitimately, it made me cringe so hard reading it. And I'm gonna make you listen to it. And we're gonna try not to cringe together, okay? Because it was like seriously one of the hardest articles I've ever had to read. Okay. New segment time. CKF. I have both a Pro and a Series X. The one game that isn't already announced to be multi-plat by Xbox that I really hope to be able to play on my PS5 is Clockwork Revolution. Yeah, dude. That one looks baller. I'm excited for that one. That one gave me the same, like, oh, this might be something special. Same vibes as like Expedition 33. It like just was checking off so many boxes. I was like, oh my God, this might be special. I'm here for it. I am here. I need a 5-hour energy. Sponsor me, 5-hour energy, please. Okay. Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync deep dive into parkour, stealth, and combat. They just posted this morning. It is fresh with new gameplay, snippets, looks, teasers, dare I say. As you can see, we know you've been waiting, anticipating Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resync, and we're delighted to share more information on key gameplay topics through a series of deep dive articles over the next several weeks, starting with the evolution of Edward's ground gameplay. We're joined by Paul Pha, creative director and veteran developer of the original Black Flag, to provide additional insights. Parkour, stealth, and combat in Resync have all been rebuilt from the ground up using the latest advancements across the franchise, including some of the Anvil Engine technology developed for AC Shadows. Quote, our goal was to honor the foundations of the original game while enhancing the experience for an action-adventure game. So, let's step out of the jacked off for now and look at how our famous pirate assassin Edward James Kenway moves and engages on the ground in Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Please note that all footage is from a work-in-progress build. Make sure to watch in 4K for the best quality. HUD settings may vary depending on the capture to showcase examples of customizable options. And in case you're wondering, all HUD elements can be individually hidden as desired using the interface customization menu. You can even play with nothing activated if you dare. This is the first little snippet they shared. Hard. Moving on. Core movements. Okay, parkour remains at the heart of what it means to be an assassin, and even a pirate like Edward is no exception to that. Our intention was to keep Edward's responsive movement from the original and make it snappier and more deliberate, whether you're jumping across the colorful rooftops of Havana, the wild, untamed jungles, or the raw scaffolds of Nassau. Parkour has been tuned to prioritize responsiveness and player choice. One thing that we worked on a lot, quote, and iterated with feedback we received early on from community members during playtests was to nail the responsiveness and pace of Edward. I've always found this interesting because they mention this in numerous articles and postings where they say like, we did community member playtests and stuff. Of course, those were never made public. So we don't know what those looked like or how early they were doing that. But I'm guessing they probably reached out to some of those like fan pages and like fan YouTube channels and stuff and asked them to provide them feedback probably even years ago, if I had to hazard a guess. I've always found that stuff fascinating. And again, it never sees the light of day, but it is still very interesting. Let's see. Throughout development, the landing animations were refined so that Edward recovers more quickly from a drop. This removes any sense of stumbling or heaviness and keeps movement feeling smooth and continuous. Jumping from one spot to the other is also more responsive. We know keeping a sense of flow is what makes parkour run most rewarding. I can talk. Here's a little snippet. Can we just take a moment, though, and appreciate they brought Cloth Sim back? This was something like Valhalla just had like, it felt like you were wearing cardboard. It was so annoying, but they actually brought Cloth Sim back and I'm so here for it. It does look pretty silky, dare I say. I will say, I also find it just so interesting that Ubisoft in the last like 6 months has started acting like it's some big revelation that they should put more effort into parkour. Because I feel like it's been communicated for years. People are like, give more fluidity, more moves, like more flair. We don't want just run at a wall and like go up it. Like we want a little more flair. We've been saying this for years. It started with like getting really bad with Odyssey, where they just cut a bunch of animations from the parkour system. Valhalla did it even more so, where they just totally gutted it. Shadows, they added a couple back in, but it wasn't quite where it needed to be. And then in the post-launch, they started putting a ton of effort in. And I think it's once they brought these leaders back from this era of Assassin's Creed, they were like, guys, no, like Assassin's Creed is known for parkour. You have to put energy into it. Like, what are we doing? Like, come on, please. And so they've actually started putting a lot of energy into it. And reportedly, there's been a lot of effort put into it with like AC Hexa, for example, where they hired a contortionist to do motion capture for some of the combat, to try and make it look a little more wacky and flared and interesting, which I think is good to hear. I mean, come on, literally. Come on. We also made subtle changes to heighten this sense of fluidity. For example, when mantling after a wall run, Edward will have a short speed boost that allows him to keep the pace of his run despite slightly recovering. You can also roll upon hitting the ground to maintain a sprinting pace, which ends up being very useful during chase missions. Of course, that smoothness is supported by the depth of design and the tools available for you to leverage. In cities, familiar features like a corner swing and lifts has returned. We've also included brand new zip lines scattered across the cities that Edward will visit, connecting you from high to low ground over longer distances and at a much faster pace. The Caribbean landscape that Edward has to contend with is very different to that of his predecessors, and the wild, untamed jungles encountered while island hopping will be full of flora to climb and parkour. Advanced parkouring is also returning. Available in the original Black Flag, these moves are back, but with all the modern tech of the latest updates to the Anvil engine, which reintroduced them in a recent major update for AC Shadows. Advanced parkour untethers Edward's full traversal skill set and enables a deeper deal of control, making side ejects and back ejects possible from virtually any height, including non-targeted jumps into the void. With this system active, you can use parkour down to trigger more precise side eject behavior, while parkour up continues to prioritize height gains and upward momentum. And here's a little look at that. Oh baby, it's simple. It's simple, but these little touches mean a lot, dude. They do. They mean a lot. Those little moves, man. Those little moves. They add up, dude. They add up. They really do. They really do. Continuing. These tools give the experienced players finer control of their traversal lines across Havana's rooftops, Kingston's balconies, Nassau's rigging networks. However, you can disable it if you prefer a more guided approach. And if you do, we will make fun of you. Okay? Just so you know. I will. You turn it off, loser. And yes, we also have a manual jump that reinforces control and decision making, something we know is heavily discussed amongst players. Oh. Manual jump offers more direct control over traversal, allowing you to take shortcuts and increase velocity while parkouring for a smoother flow of movement. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think they low-key cooking. Stealth. Look at this. Introducing the Observe feature. Classic Assassin's Creed Eagle Vision returns for Edward, allowing him to highlight enemies behind walls and objects, as well as isolating any relevant sounds they make. Now, this skill is enhanced by the Observe feature, first introduced in AC Shadows, which adds the ability to observe your surroundings to find your quest objectives, clues, and tag enemies. Bringing the camera in closer during the Observe mode creates a more cinematic and immersive experience as Edward surveys his surroundings. It's clean. I do think that will help declutter things. Edward can crouch anytime. People forget this was not the case in the original, but yeah, people forget that was a A big deal when that was added to AC. To expand Edward's stealth options, he can now crouch at any time and will remain hidden from view anywhere on rooftops, in any suitable vegetation, behind walls or buildings, or behind objects like crates scattered throughout the Caribbean. Edward is also less visible at night when crouching, and enemies will take longer to spot him in the dark. However, he will not be fully hidden, so you will still need to watch your surroundings and stay out of sight. Crouching modifies Edward's visibility meter, affecting enemy visibility at medium to long range. This is especially useful while stalking through bushes and rooftops. It also reduces movement stimuli, making it easier for Edward to perform stealth kills, says Paul. I just want to say, this has nothing to do with anything. I've been to the Caribbean. I never know which way to say it. I love it. It's great. You're out of your damn mind if you want to keep like fabric covered cushioned seats in the open air. Look, that couch, tell you what, within 2 weeks, that thing is covered in mold. Covered in mold. Bragging? Damn right. That thing's covered in mold. I would not do that, okay? There's a reason moldy chair. Yeah, I'm a chair expert. I sure am. When we were there were multiple restaurants we went into where like you just walk in and dude, the ceiling is like textured with black mold and stuff. It's just a fact of life there because it's so humid and the rain is so crazy. You just don't mess with things being exposed to the open air that could collect mold if you care about collecting mold. This scares me. Okay. Random things that pop off in my head when I'm watching gameplay. Sorry, not sorry. Knower of mold. Luke Stevens. Luke the Mold Stevens. Yeah, right here. Oh my god. See that guy right there covered in mold? He's gonna have mold on him real quick, real fast. There's the blood. This is one thing people, when they saw the reveal trailer, were wondering about. The fact that there was no mold. Jesus Christ, I fried my own brain. No blood. Jesus Christ. My brain is filled with mold, apparently. But the blood was turned off for the promotion of the game. But it is there. You can see it just sprayed all over the concrete and the stone steps or whatever. It probably got on the mold too. So there is blood in the game. It was just turned off for the reveal because social media platforms are really weird about blood. Like they just don't like it. So if you want your trailer and videos and stuff to be sent to everywhere, just don't do it. So they turned it off. But yes, it is turned on by default. Oh, that slide was silky. Did you see it move the books too? They did physics sim on the books. So as he's sliding, he knocks over the books. Oh, that's a good touch. That's a good touch. I love that. It's why, like, I hope that GTA 6 has a mode where, like, you know, you slide across the hood, Dukes of Hazzard style, but like one time you do it, like, you know, when you have Arthur eat a lot of beans and he turns into Fat Arthur. I hope you can do that as like Jason. He becomes Fat Jason, and you try to slide across the hood and it like dents it. I hope that's in the game. That would be a really good touch. I won't buy it unless that's in the game. You heard me, Strauss. I need it. These are the ideas you get if you hire Luke to consult on your game. Really useful, actionable information and random tidbits about mold, apparently. Edward has a full arsenal of tools at his disposal to increase his stealth capabilities. He has the blowpipe, giggity. It returns loaded with 2 distinct dark types, using a berserker dart. I always say berserker, even though it's berserk dart. But anyway, it will cause an enemy to start attacking his own, creating windows of chaos, ideal for slipping past guards undetected. Or if you like to go in guns blazing, Edward can join in the carnage. Meanwhile, the sleep dart neutralizes targets silently, making it useful for clearing lightly guarded entrances or setting up diversionary tactics. Here's a snippet of that. Ooh, I like the green. I like the green. That's a good look. Okay. Dude, the water looks so good. The water looks so good. I can't get over them. Look at the water. Yeah, where's the mold dart? Dan, what are you doing, Dan? Stop, Dan. Pretty good. Pretty good. Dude, the sheer volume, like it was kind of lost in the discourse around AC Shadows because of like Yasuke and then all the other headaches and fumbles that they had during that time. But like the Anvil engine is a crazy powerful engine. And it is built specifically for like dense open worlds. It is built for games like this. That's what it was built for. And it's really good to have an engine that is not just Unreal Engine, you know, with a different coat of paint. Like it is built from the ground up for these types of games. And you can see it in snippets like this. Like no load screen in sight either. But like the sheer density of foliage and like the water just looks fantastic. Oh man. It's like, I remember we talked about AC Shadows and I was like, dude, can you imagine? Because there were rumors and rumblings of a Black Flag remake at the time. And I remember us talking about like, dude, just imagine what Black Flag remake would look like. What Black Flag would look like with this engine. Can you even imagine? And now we see it and I'm like, yep, no, it looks really good. Looks good. As I said, if I had to put it down to like a word, just looking at all this stuff from the trailers and everything, just one word: throbbing. Vascular, I think is also a good word for it. Something like that. Something like that. Phallic there. Look at the grass. Yeah. Smoke bomb. The smoke bomb returns, allowing Edward to assassinate basic enemies while shrouded in smoke, making it a lethal offensive tool as well as a defensive one. And for players needing a fast escape, the smoke bomb is a great quick use option. The rope dart, Edward's rope dart tool, has also returned, which will allow him to strike targets from short to medium ranges, pulling them in closer for an attack, as well as giving him the ability to suspend enemies from beams, both killing them and serving as a distraction to others. Or dare I say, an example. An example. Yeah, I should have said moldy. I missed it. I missed my own joke. I set myself up for it and missed it. So let's, where I lost my train of thought. Okay. And to make the rope dart much more strategic item for Edward, he will be able to get his hands on it much earlier, sequence 3 in Resynced versus sequence 11 in the original. That is very interesting. They actually moved it up. That's fascinating. I mean, I'm trying to think when you unlock it in the original. But at least I had like, you know, initial impression. I actually like that change because the rope dart is like legitimately awesome. And so giving players more time with it, like, I'm not mad about that. Skadoosh. It's pretty clean. And dude, the blood splatter. The blood splatter. Pretty good. I'm sorry. I know I just talked about mold. Can I also just say, bro, it's got to be so freaking hot in this outfit. Like, can we just, memes aside, this thing is like cotton and leather. By the looks of it, he might even have a little spandex in there. Dude, he's got to be sweating his ever-loving ass off. And talk about blisters. Talk about blisters. Yeah, there's probably mold on the outfit. I wouldn't be surprised. That's, maybe we need, you know how they do comic books sometimes to add like lore to games and like explain plot holes and stuff. Maybe we need like a comic book about Edward and his mold remediation technique. Like, how does he keep his outfits clean? I'd like to know. I think it would be interesting, you know? I finally get the chance to interview the devs. Like, yeah, do you have a question about the gameplay, about any of the changes? How did he avoid Swamp Ass? Or did he not? Oh, lubrication for faster movement. It all connects. It's all coming together, folks. It all's coming together. Okay, continuing. Taking Edward's hood on or off. This was until like just a day ago. Yeah, I'm just asking questions. He suffered for our gain. Yes. So this was asked about just like a week ago, and they wouldn't say anything. Like, they just wouldn't acknowledge, like, and now we know why, because the answer was, oh, you can take your hood off and put it back on whenever you want. Yeah, we didn't realize at the time, but now we do. Sail, fight, or sneak how you wish with the hood on or off toggle. With a quick press of a button, Edward can throw his hood on or off, allowing you to take full advantage of take full advantage of those stylish assassin robes when adventuring across the Caribbean. Let's take a look, see. Dude, I can already tell the music's gonna be such a vibe. Edward's social stealth mechanics in urban centers. Edward can exploit. You can just say that. He's gonna exploit. Okay. He can exploit the dense urban environment, I see, of the Caribbean's golden age of piracy to outmaneuver and evade enemies through a refined set of social stealth tools. Improved tailing and eavesdropping missions also. Quote, one thing we really wanted to improve from the original when it comes to stealth was how you would desync from tailing and eavesdropping missions when you were out of range, and that this could be super punishing. We've removed this so that if you get sidetracked and lose a target while trailing or eavesdropping, you'll still be able to complete the mission, which I think, again, is like such a simple way of fixing the problem, because people forget, man. People forget. Calm down, Luke. Never. Like, dude, the eavesdropping missions were so toxic. They were so annoying, and they were everywhere. Like, it feels, I know it's not actually, but it feels like it's a solid 65% of the game, like of the main objectives, we're trailing somebody. And if they see you, fail, start over. And it's just annoying. Like, and the reason they cut those out of future games was because people hated it so much. Like, the game's awesome, trailing missions suck ass. And I think the idea behind them was always that you are following an objective and it gives you a quest that's tied to parkour. So you are parkouring like through the city, along the rooftops and stuff, and stealthing as well, which is also a very assassin thing. So they thought that it was like a mission archetype that would force you into both of the behaviors that are iconic for assassins, right? But it just doesn't work. It's just not fun. It's just bad. You know, it doesn't work. And so they cut it and changed it. And here's a little snippet of that. Hello, ladies. A little bit. So I'll do the music.
¿Algún problema?
Dude, and then the like shadows from the palm trees. Look at the shadows. Oh man, hold on. I have to show you one snippet of something. Whenever I see really good shadows in a game, I think of this. Okay. Shadow. This is me seeing a really sharp shadow in an open world game.
Jeffrey, how was your... Oh my God, even his shadow. Look at his shadow.
It's so stupid, but I think of it all the time. Look at the shadow. I can't. Okay, continuing. You didn't ask? True. You knew what you were getting when you came here. You knew what you were getting. Hiring NPCs. Hiring dancers feature returns from the original game. Edward can recruit a group of dancers who accompany him through the streets, providing natural cover in busy areas. Edward can use them to blend in passively or direct them to distract nearby guards while he plunders loot or retreats after an assassination. Crowd blending. Crowd blending also makes a comeback, but with an update, Edward can now blend into any groups of 3 civilians or more to remain unseen. Benches, walls, haystacks, and closets are also classic returning hiding spots within a busy city. Throwing money. For those who like creating chaos, throwing money remains an option to lure guards and citizens to a location. Edward will have to be selective when using this, as it costs 10 reals per use, with a very short cooldown window to make you don't empty your pockets too fast. I think to make sure you don't empty your pockets too fast. Money! Easy peasy. Throw the money and run away. Throw the money and run away. Combat. Our combat system is designed to capture the full experience of being a pirate. Charismatic, swashbuckling, dual-wielding swordplay mixed with stylish gunplay. Quote, at its core, Resync is an action-adventure game, and combat is designed to be systemic and deliberate. Every move is designed to have an advantage, a disadvantage, and a specific role to play, he says. Takedowns, the core combat loop. Hidden blade takedowns, breaking enemy defense with multiple attacks will trigger a hidden blade takedown. Perfect parry takedowns, triggered by timing a perfect parry. He can chain his takedowns to up to 4 nearby enemies, depending on the sword he carries. Wall takedowns, kick an enemy into a wall to initiate a fatal takedown. Ground takedown, grounded enemies from an explosion or sweep move can be killed by a ground takedown as well. Here are some examples.
Not good enough.
I will say they did also stress that they already received the feedback on the really big indicator. That's already going to be tuned down, as is the sound for the parry and the signal for that. So they already heard the feedback that was a little too much, a little too exaggerated, and they already said that they are changing it and pulling it back. So already that's improved.
Not good enough.
Ooh. I mean, your sword wouldn't be clean after that. Tell you what, that one was messy. That one was straight messy. Right in the back of the skull, dude. That's wild. Environmental combat, they can have big impact on fights. Ledges allow fatal kicks. Tight corridors are ideal spaces for chain takedowns. Powder kegs can be blown up to drop enemies for a ground takedown. Walls are killing surfaces, which allow Edward to perform wall takedowns after a well-placed kick. As Paul puts it, quote, we wanted to each fight to feel different without introducing RPG stats. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Thank you. That's a great way of doing it. I appreciate you. You keep this up, we might even get a candle for you, frankly. It's amazing how selling your game as not being X is actually thank God. It's what's the most exciting thing about your game? We're not that. Yes. Yeah. Advanced attacks. He has a new dodge attack, which causes additional damage if executed with precise timing as a perfect dodge attack. The heavy attack is another... I need a candle. You know what I'm saying? It's another new move to add to his combat kit, performed by holding the attack button. The heavy attack provides the highest damage, suitable against advanced foes, but takes a moment to wind up before landing. For maximum punish damage, perform a heavy strike at the end of Edward's classic combo, or basic combo. Heavy attacks also vary in function depending on which type of weapon he's carrying. A rapier, heavy strikes are more damaging and can pierce through foes. Cutlass, they cover a wider area, so it's more like a sweep. And then the sword pistol, 2 damaging shots are fired, allowing Edward to focus fire on 1 enemy or spread the damage on 2. Adaptive enemies. Combat in Resync is more demanding than before. Enemies can react to repetitive behavior, so players will need to vary their playstyle. This is something he said in the call I had with him, where he mentioned specifically that they will recognize if you're spamming moves. So if you're just spamming light attack, or you're just spamming smoke bomb, stab, they'll actually start to adapt and change behavior based on that. For example, quote, waiting around too much for a parry and enemies will react by performing unstoppable attacks that cannot be parried. Abuse a kick too much and enemies will quickly dodge them. The trick is to alternate between offense and defense. Varying your combo helps. Rotate between kicks, sweeps, rope darts, pistols, and heavy strikes at the end of your attack combos to confuse enemies, which is very, very simple. Advanced enemy archetypes and how to deal with them. Soldiers, advanced archetypes such as Brute, Captain, and the new Demolitionist pack a punch and are harder to take down than your average soldier. There's a bunch of different tools, of course. The rope dart is a great tool for this. Here's a snippet of that.
Split you in twain!
In twain. Plop, plop. Ooh. Dirty. Yeah, the other change, people have brought it up, is the hidden blades are not being treated as a standalone weapon. They are being treated as complementary things and as a dedicated weapon for like assassinations, of course, and like finishers in that way. But they are not being treated as like just a different sword. So you're not going to get in full fights where you're just using hidden blades to like deflect and stab and stuff. Instead, you use your swords and your weapons for the actual combat, and then the hidden blade is used to do finishers and stuff. I know some people are very perturbed by that and upset by it. I mentioned in a previous stream, I'm not actually that peeved about it. It always struck me kind of weird that these like very precious tools of the assassin trade, like these almost sacred objects, are being used in this very haphazard way where they're getting just beat up and bashed constantly. It always seemed like something where it's like the hidden blade is something you use and it's like almost maybe respect is the wrong word, but it's a tool for precision, you know, it's a tool for precision. And so using it to just, you know, eat axe hits and sword blows and stuff always just struck me as kind of weird. Revered, yeah, maybe that's a good word. Yeah, Big L, honestly, I've always liked fighting with hidden blades, even if it made less sense. It was cool. Yeah, and I think it's totally fine. Like, to be clear, it's okay if you're bummed by that change. That's totally fine. I'm just telling you my personal opinion. I'm like, not a big deal to me. It always kind of was just, to me, it didn't like make that big of a deal to me, or that much sense to me. And I always ended up fighting with my dedicated weapons anyways in the original, so I'm not perturbed by it. But obviously some people are perturbed by it, but we'll see. You know, maybe when we play the game, it's like, actually the base combat sucks, and so that actually is a big L, you know, who knows? We'll see when we actually get our hands on it. But as of right now, I'm not like, that's not a deal breaker for me. Let's see. The quick shot from the pistol. Iconic gun katana, Jesus Christ, I can't read. The gun kata also returns, allowing Edward to kill multiple nearby enemies in quick succession when you have progressed enough in the game. Here's a snippet. Jump move. That was pretty silky. That was pretty silky. That was pretty silky. I tell you what. I just wanted that one more time. Pop a cap. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty smooth. I'll give them that. That's pretty smooth. And that's what we have for today. I hope you enjoyed this look at the ground gameplay of Black Flag Resynced. Stay tuned for our next deep dive article looking at naval gameplay. Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah. So yeah, we're going to dig into that. That will be fun. That will be real fun. Tell you what. Look here, look, listen. So that is the deep dive we have on Black Flag Resynced. My understanding is they're going to continue doing more and more of these. I would expect we probably get like another trailer at Summer Games Fest, maybe, you know, just something simple. But yeah, I think they're going to have a pretty steady pace of drops and info drops as we approach launch in early July. I think it's looking really, really good. In fact, we saw that just while we were streaming. Here, hold on. Look at this. Look where Destin is. I was like, where's Destin? He's usually chilling in chat. I took a little detour to play some AC Black Flag Resynced. Destin. You sly dog. You sly dog. So people are playing it right now, assuming he posted this and like the event is smart. Maybe he posted it, or maybe he took the picture yesterday or something. I don't know. But people are still actively playing it. We know that there's been a bunch of AI image. We know that there's no mold. We know that there's been a lot of people that are trying it and testing it. And so it seems like we're going to be hearing stuff soon. Time will tell. Gaming Room is fire, bro. Thank you, Solemn. Thank you. Appreciate you. It's my little den. Now time for cringe. Oh, you better believe it. Yeah, you better believe it. Okay. Let's do this real quick. I'm going to try to get through this. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Okay. New segment. Prepare your butts. This is one of the cringiest things I've ever read. All right, fam. I need you to collect your pillows. I need you to collect oven mitts. Anything else that will pad your hands. Strap them down with duct tape and anything else that is firm and forceful. I need you to be prepared, because what we are going to look at today is unironically like one of the cringiest articles I've ever had the displeasure of reading. Like, it was honestly hard to get through it. And so I'm going to force you to listen to it too. Your face-palming urges will be strong. This is, of course, about 007 First Light. Now, previews just dropped like last week or whatever it was. And the previews were all quite positive, actually. I think they were almost universally positive. People comparing the game to Uncharted meets Hitman. It has the cinematic quality of Uncharted, but then it has the gameplay dynamism of Hitman. It seems like they've done a lot of work on optimization, so it's running way better. It's just across the board. Feelings were really positive. Even when it comes down to the writing and the performances, reactions were all very, very positive. I had the chance to play the game, thought it was really, really solid. I still have questions about performance, specifically on consoles, because we just didn't see that. But at least on PC, it seems like they've done a ton of work and it's running really, really well. The writing, from what we saw, was solid. Voice acting, from what we saw, was really solid. It's just going to be a matter of time before, we get the final release. But overall, I think a lot of people are really stoked on it. Enter PC Gamer. PC Gamer has had a really weird hard-on for being anti 007. It's been kind of weird to watch, honestly. It's just been strange. From the preview right off the bat, they were weird about it. And then they posted this other article, which is going to be the topic for today, which is just really, really bizarre. For example, like there were some of these. Our first look at 007 First Light is finally here. And oh no, I'm pretty sure this Bond was born in the year 2000. Okay. And where's the other one? There's one in particular. Yeah, they had a bunch of these. Yeah, after 3 hours, 007 First Light, IO's weaknesses are on display in a way they haven't been since Hitman Absolution. And they go through, they have all of these posts on the game. But what are we talking about today? Well, this one from the same author. So this guy who apparently went to the preview event, Joshua Wolins, maybe. I was not familiar with him. He seems to be a news writer that works with them and does a bunch of, it looks like contract work or maybe freelance work, just writing random articles for them. So, I respect the hustle. But he put this article together. Hear me out. What if James Bond shouldn't be in video games? Now, setting aside the point that this is obviously like low-key rage bait. They're trying to say something outrageous to get a reaction. Okay, I'm aware of all that. Let's hear him out. Let's hear him out. It's a bold take to be like, let's just get rid of 007 in gaming. Because like 007, I mean, like GoldenEye is one of like the classics. Like, this is very interesting. But okay, I'll hear you out, okay? I played a good few hours of 007. I want to be clear. I am reading right now. This is not my opinion. I am reading, okay? I want to just stress that. I played a good few hours of 007 First Light last week, and I encourage you to click that link and read all about what I thought of them. But my time with Jim Bond... Okay, this is off to a great start. My time with Jim Bond sparked other thoughts. Thoughts that probably don't belong in a preview. Thoughts like, what if James Bond just shouldn't be a video game protagonist? Bear in mind, almost everyone else liked it and thought it was really good. So this is bringing up contrarian middle child energy, but okay. I know what you're thinking. Do you? I'm not sure you do. And first of all, I'd like you all to stop calling me those nasty names. Okay, well, okay. He did. Okay. Second, yes, GoldenEye for the N64 is a classic. You're also not really James Bond in it. You're a hand with a pistol in it. And sometimes in cutscenes, Pierce Brosnan's face, the character of Bond, existed as a lore reason for your gun to emit bullets. It is a video game. And there are times where you will be playing a character and you are not actually the character. It is a game. So like when you are playing The Last of Us, you are not Joel. You are an avatar representing the character of Joel. That's true. I don't see how that means Joel is you know what? We're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's continue. But games that try to make you feel like James Bond, that put you in his actual shoes, attempt to embody him as a character, they fall down. Why? How? Admittedly, a lot of them are simply not very good video games. Okay. But also, I think the very nature of Bond is that he is a creature of cinema. He just doesn't quite fit into games. Part of this is... Double check your pillows. Okay. Oven mitts and such. Let's not continue, please. I told you I was going to force you to listen to this. Part of this is, quote, well, he's annoying. This might scan differently to non-Brits or indeed to anyone who doesn't share my particular brand of class psychosis. But James Bond is an insufferable public school dickhead. He's a rowing club Tory boy through and through, and he comports himself like a man who has a right to the earth and everybody on it. I can already tell this is somebody who's invited to the party and everybody sighs when he walks in. Oh boy. Here we go. Gonna start talking about class differences and okay, here we go. You know, a lot of fun at a dinner party, tell you what. Which is quite fun for 90 minutes to 120 minutes of a movie where he is surrounded by numerous other people who can roll their eyes at him whenever he opens his mouth. In a video game for 10, 20, 30, 40 hours? Less so. And especially less so in something like First Light, where a lot of his cocky one-liners and general swagger are delivered to empty rooms and enemy corpses, where no one, save the player, can tell him to give it a damn rest. This, I don't know where this is born out of. This is giving the energy of like, the kid who is like bullied in school and is still really bitter about that, and so now is like lashing out at people he deems to be cool for not actually being cool. Yeah, it's giving that same energy. It's just I'm trying. Okay. But also part of his charismatic arrogance is that he is suave and unflappable. Get ready for this. Get ready. This is where I like actually had to double take and make sure this was written by an actual publication. Okay, so, but also part of this, his charismatic arrogance is that he is suave and unflappable. Well, great. Good for him. I am not suave, and I flap at the slightest inconvenience. I simply don't ... fit into him. Should probably reword that. Whenever I, as Bond, fumble a counter, miss a shot, or try to duck into cover only to fling myself headfirst into a desk lamp, I break the spell of the character. Sorry, Romeo, I don't know if you can hear that. Romeo is crying because he doesn't want to be outside because it's snowing, but then he doesn't want to be inside because he wants to be outside. And so he's just like, I don't know what I want. I'm sad. So let me be clear. I get what he's trying to say. What he's trying to say is that James Bond is somebody who is suave and debonair, and he also just tactically has things figured out. You know, you don't see James Bond fumbling that much in the films. Of course, there's plenty of occasions where he like gets captured or maybe he gets punched in a fight. You know, he's not perfect. He's not like Terminator or anything. But when you put that into a game where somebody can fail and can stumble, it can rip you out of any sense of immersion if they're supposed to be put all together. I would argue that complaint kind of falls apart when you remember what this game is, which is an origin story. So it's about James Bond becoming 007. Like literally the tagline for this game is earn the number. Sorry, Jim Bond. Sorry. So he's not the James Bond you recognize in the films, and they've stressed that over and over again. This is about getting there. It's about building up to that point where he is that character that we all know. So he's not going to be on the same level, and you shouldn't expect him to. As for, you know, that's why he's not unflappable in like gameplay specifically, and why that doesn't really matter that much. As for charismatic arrogance, complaining that somebody is charismatic seems to be a behavior that is mainly attributed to those who are not that. You know, you don't see a lot of charismatic people complaining that other people are charismatic. You know what I mean? Like, it tends to be maybe a little bit of cope. I'm not singling out First Light for this. It's just the Bond game I played most recently, and if anything, does a good job of realizing him as a character. It's just that, again, maybe that character should not be a video game character. One moment in particular in my time with First Light made me think this. 007 is doing righteous battle with a villain. Normal thing for 007 to do. During the fight, he grabs a teacup from the sideboard and drives it hard into his opponent's face. At this point, he says something which I did not write down because I was in the middle of fighting a guy, so my recollection may be fuzzy, but I believe James Bond, 007, on His Majesty's Secret Service, said something along the lines of, "Time for tea." I posit to you, is a man who will say time for tea or something close to it upon assaulting some sort of international terrorist with a cup the kind of person in whose head you want to spend 40 hours? He is not, but turning him into a man who doesn't say that would make him not Bond. It sounds like you, like this goes back to what we've been talking about like all year. Okay, it's a game, dude. Yeah, this is like something we've brought up so many times with, like, whether it's High Guard or it's other games like Crimson Desert, like a lot of game journalist types coping about that. We've seen this time again where these individuals will write articles or reviews bashing a game for not being this thing they built in their head, and then they punish it for that. So like Crimson Desert doesn't hold my hand enough, and it's not guided enough, and it's too complicated, and it's not enough like Skyrim, and like they have all these things in their head, and then it doesn't match, and so the game is therefore bad. And with this, it's like I want James Bond to like not have witty one-liners because I find the charisma to be not charisma-ing enough, and so I don't want him to be in the game, but then that would make him not James Bond. So Like, just say you just want to play Uncharted. Like, you just want to play Uncharted or Hitman. Like, you just don't like this game. Like, you just don't like the game, okay? You don't like the concept. Okay, cool. That's fine, okay? That's fine. You just don't like it, okay? And that's fine. It's just what frustrates me is the fact that a game like 007 will almost inevitably, certainly, get reviewed by somebody like this. Oh, my capture card froze somehow. That's weird. Refresh. There we go. It's going to get reviewed by somebody like this who just is never going to like it because he would rather Jim Bond not make one-liners. And he'd rather him be, I don't get if he's asking that he be less charismatic or just a different kind of charisma. I get that you're not like suave and debonair and unflappable in the same way. Like, so are you asking that he was also flappable and not suave? Like, what are you asking for exactly? You just don't like the game. But this guy's going to review it, or somebody like him is going to review it. And then the developers are going to suffer the consequences of it, even though they put a game together that a lot of people, millions of people, are going to eat up and love. I was at a car dealership yesterday and met a lovely guy named Otto. And TTO, not AUTO. That would have been funny though. I wonder if that's why he works with cars, maybe. But I met a guy named Otto, lovely chap, and he ended up recognizing me from the 007 video. He said he's not actually like big into games, doesn't play a lot of games super actively or anything, but he's really interested in 007. It's like, yeah, I saw a trailer for it on a commercial. It's like I started looking up videos for it. Your video came up, I watched it, and then you came in and I was like, I think I just watched one of his videos. But like that 007, there's a lot of people that love 007 and want to do it, want to get into it. They love it. IP power. Yeah, people know 007. They know James Bond. This guy just doesn't, okay? And he just doesn't. He gets uncomfortable with Jim Bond being charismatic. It makes him uncomfortable, okay? And so he's just never going to like it. But what frustrates the hell out of me is that somebody like this will still have outsized influence on like the performance of the game, on the review scores and Metacritic scores of the game, even though he literally was never going to be part of the target audience. It was never going to be a game for him. But he has outsized influence in it, even though he's just a dude who's never going to like this. But because he works at the outlet that has the connection with Open or Metacritic, he can determine whether or have a major impact on whether like the team gets bonuses if their bonuses are tied to Metacritic scores, or whether a more casual audience member is going to actually decide to give the game a chance or not, because they look at Metacritic scores or the review scores from an outlet like this. Like, and this is part of the energy. And sure, maybe I'm reading too much into this, that, this is probably just one of those articles that's put together to be a click engagement farming, a headline that drives clicks and gets that engagement. But this is why like the broader gaming populace doesn't just like not take games journalism seriously, but like actively mocks it. This is the kind of reason why. Okay. I'm just leveling with all of you. Like whether you work in the industry or not, this is the type of article why. How do you fix it? Your editors need to actually have standards. If I worked at PC Gamer and I was the editor, I would have been like, this is like one of the stupidest things I've ever seen in my life. No, we're not publishing this. Are you kidding me? Like if Jacob pitched doing this as a video, or if Landon did or Trevor did to me, I'd be like, no. That's literally all they need. I will say, if you want to read through some of the comments, they're pretty priceless. On Twitter, they put out this, and 123 likes, 803 comments, 474 repostings, and 200 bookmarks. It's about as clean of a ratio as you can imagine. 2.4 million views. Not positive views, I don't think. Nick Tech, just when I thought PC Gamer couldn't sink any lower. Loki, hear me out. What if you shouldn't be in games journalism? Well, just hear me out. This article in a nutshell. We paid a freelancer to say a thing like that you like is dog shit because the Google Facebook duopoly ate the entire or the whole digital ad market, and now harvesting hate clicks is the only viable business model for online media. It gives that energy for sure. Bingo. You're actually regarded. And it's just the clip of him complaining that he's not suave. People with self-images are so broken they can't even pretend to be cool in a video game. It gives that energy where it's like he's feeling like put down by 007. Like 007 being so cool makes him uncomfortable. It's bizarre. Why has PC Gamer become the shittiest game journalist now? I wouldn't go so far. That's a high bar to clear. Translation, I'm a frail individual and I can't relate to James Bond. Therefore, I don't play him in video games. If this isn't the most insecure ass article I've read in a long time. Basically, the author finds him too cool and he can't relate to him, and this ruins his class ideology. This is why people don't take this stuff seriously. This is why. Okay. So don't come at me on Twitter. Be like, oh, Luke's being too mean to us. Fix your own damn problems first, okay? Tidy up your house before you start chucking rocks in mine. I know I just mixed like 3 analogies together, you know? Take the log out of your own eye before you pluck the splinter out of mine. I think that's from the Bible, I think. Did Luke just quote the Bible to game journalists? Sure did. I think. Not sure. Have to look it up. Anyway. Yeah, I only heard Luke say James Bond just shouldn't be in video games. Did I miss something? Oh, God. Oh, boy. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Call me asparagus. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go. There you go. It's one of the most insane things I've read in a while. And I read a lot of High Guard coverage and defense. And so there you go. There you go. There you go. Now I shared it with you and you have to suffer through that as well. Key takeaway though is that the game looks really good. Okay. Okay. Oh, I have a sneeze coming. It's close. Okay. Okay. What should we, where do I want to go first? Let's knock out our GTA 6 stuff first. Let's do that. That's probably the best way to do this. Tackle that first, and then we'll get into the other tidbits I got, okay? Sneeze. It's just like, you know how it's sitting there and you're like, I feel it coming. I feel it coming, but it's not there. It's not there yet. Real quick, let me read this. Okay, I read that one. Water Vala, I think. Thank you for that super chat. Speaking of Ubisoft, when do you think, or do you think, Beyond Good and Evil 2 will ever come out? It is still in production. I think the question mark right now is just who's in charge of it. I don't know which creative house is in charge of it. I don't think it's Vantage, so I think it's some other creative house. But I think we'll hear about it sooner than you think. I don't think it's at this point, I don't think it's getting canceled. Like, if they were going to cancel it, they literally would have done it 10 years ago or 15 years ago. We're approaching the 20th anniversary of its announcement. So if they were going to cancel, I think they would have. So I think we'll see a reveal and we'll see it soon enough. But yeah, I don't think they'll cancel it. Wallet, thank you for that. It looks as fluid as Unity, but I hope the side ejects are meant by whoever is playing the video and not out of control like Unity was. Yeah, like the controls are actually intentional. I hope so too. That's something you'll just get a feel for when you play it. Matthew, thank you for that. Hey Luke, do you think they should add going prone to Black Flag? It really added an extra layer of stealth in shadows. The thing with going prone is that you gotta like build encounters for it. Otherwise it's just like it's a slower crouch. Like if you don't build encounters and like environments for the prone, it just ends up being a slower crouch. And maybe that's worth having. I don't know, but I don't think it's that necessary personally. It's a remake, so I don't think you need to reinvent the wheel like that. But I do think they'll have prone for future games. I think, for sure. Matthew, I read that one. Wallet, thank you for that super chat. Also wish they brought all the assassination animations from Unity. Oh, like all the finishers and stuff. Syndicate had the most insane ones. Syndicate had crazy, brutal assassination animations. They were really cool. Remember with like she'd have the staff and then she'd like shove it on the ground in the back of one guy's head and then the other guy gets slammed onto that cane and then she'd like twist it and rip it off. It was crazy. It was crazy. They were hardcore. Let's see. Alistera, thank you for the 5. Luke, KCD2 just dropped a perfume commercial and it's kind of funny. Have a look at the website that changed its name to a 1 letter. Have a look on that website that changed its name to a 1 letter. Oh, you mean on X. That took me too long. Carol Baskin. Where I don't see it. Perfume. You said KCD2 perfume. I found it. Kintsugi Perfumes, Kingdom Come, Eau de Parfum. Oh, that's cute. It's in like a little, oh, that's cute. It's in the cute little bottle. Crisp apple, fresh herbs, open the path, echoing the story you move through. Lavender, mint, and chamomile unfold with quiet calm, softened by a hint of rose and elderflower. Dude, but it's only EU. I wonder if I can pull some strings and get a bottle. I probably could. I bet I could. Like, I'll buy it. I'm fine with spending the money. I like colognes and I like collecting stuff. I'd be down to pay it. I would just need help getting it to the US, you know? That's baller, dude. Oh, they have a little tester too, so you can try it before you spend the money. You gotta try it. Here. This is it. This is the trailer. Sorry.
Perfume commercials are full of bollocks. But I am not. Nothing sells perfume better than footage of metrosexual men with laser-shaved chests walking around. This perfume shall bring you the love of your life on a white stallion. Unless they fall off a cliff and the horse becomes salami. Warhorse is milking the franchise like an alpine cow. They forced me into a cape-on haircut, but it only looks good in the game. I just look like a German bouncer. A cat chased me as it could smell the herbal, leathery, smoky scent. But I couldn't smell shit as I caught a cold from this night shoot.
That's amazing.
I don't care about any rules. It's an amazing life. Kingdom Come by Kintsugi Perfumes.
I think I need a bottle, dude. That's too fantastic. Also, this is just what Prague looks like, dude. Like, it's so clean and beautiful all the time. It's so upsetting. It's awesome. That's freaking awesome. Yeah, shout out Luke. That's fantastic. That's so good. I might need to find a bottle of that. I don't even know how I'll get it, but I gotta find a way to do it. I'll pay for it. I'll pay for import and all that. I'm not in the EU. I don't have a shipping address in the EU. That's awesome. We'll see if we can get one. That's awesome. Let's see. Wallet the Great. This guy would hate Spider-Man. Probably. Yeah, Spider-Man's too cool. He probably has a problem with playing Batman because Batman's a billionaire, and that's really problematic to find billionaires admirable. And he's not a billionaire, so how is he supposed to play as a billionaire? That's not immersive. Like, Batman never stops to ask how he's going to pay rent. I do. Unplayable. 2 out of 10. Like, that's literally the energy we're dealing with. It's insane. It's like he didn't bond with the character. Yes. Superstar Doc or Superstar DC. Thank you for the 2. Is it time Is time for tea, Luke? It always is time for tea. Totally. Thank you for that. Thoughts on Forza Horizon 6? I've not played it yet, so I don't know. Looks cool though. Wish I had thoughts, but I've not played it. The Nugget, thank you for that 5. What are your opinions on ARPGs like Diablo and Path of Exile? Have you seen the new Diablo 4 expansion? Is it a good time to jump in if new? I've not kept up on the new expansion, so I'm not exactly sure what it brings to the table. We might have people in chat who are familiar with it. As for my opinion of ARPGs, I really like them. I usually will like hop on and play them with friends. I'm not like a no-lifer or something. I don't like go hardcore. I don't have thousands of hours in them. I'll do a few runs and then I'm like, good. Give it 6 months, an expansion comes out, play it for another weekend, then leave, come back, and I'll bounce between them, but I'm not like no-lifing it. I have to play way more. I have to play way too many games for me to get all in on one. I do think when I like retire from content creation and everything, whenever that day comes, hopefully not soon, but whenever that day comes, I would love to get like all in on like one game. I pick Path of Exile and I just go all in, because I've never been able to do that, because it's always like, yeah, you can do that, but you gotta put 80 hours into Crimson Desert before the review embargo, so you only have so many hours in the day. You got to do that. Okay, I'll go do that. And then it's like, oh, well, now I can get back into it. It's like, nope, this game launched, so you got to go do that. So you always have to, bounce around. Does your wife, family play video games? Yeah, we play. I mentioned earlier in the stream, we play a lot of like games that we can all hop on together. So like we've played Marvel Rivals, Overwatch. Marvel Rivals just did a bunch of updates. They have a bunch of new game modes. Their Blood Hunt mode, bro, I got low-key addicted to that. We will have a video actually coming out about it, but like I'm like low-key addicted to it. We've done like Overwatch stuff. We've played party games, whether it's Jackbox or other Peak was fun for a bit. So like we'll try a bunch of different stuff. But yeah, Nikki grinds like specifically Marvel Rivals ranked, and so she will like grind that stuff out. It's pretty baller. It's a PvE mode, yeah, and it's got like long-term scaling. Each of the heroes has a different like skill tree and different inventories for loot that you'll pick up. It's like pretty beefy. It's pretty beefy. We'll also play Fortnite. My younger brother Eli, he loves Fortnite, shocker. So we'll play Fortnite with him pretty regularly. And dude, they have an insane amount of content that they drop. They just casually dropped Droid Tycoon, which, like, no joke, is just straight up a tycoon game in Fortnite. Just a free update where like you build out an entire factory to build and maintain and manage droids. Like we just did a video on short form for this. I was just going to play like 45 minutes to get gameplay collection and check it out. I ended up spending like a few hours on it because I love tycoon games. They're my guilty pleasure. People ask me, what's your guilty pleasure game, Luke, that you play like when stream's off and you can just do whatever you want to do? Tycoon games and like sim games. I love those things, dude. And it's like pretty damn solid. So anyway, let me finish catching up on these. Lonely, thank you for the 10. Hey, Luke, love your content. Did you see that the next COD won't be old gen? Yeah, dude, isn't it crazy that in the good year of our good Lord 2026, it's news. It's news that Call of Duty is not coming out to the 2013 console. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's insane. But that's where we are, man. It's just a crazy time to be alive. But yeah, they said that it's going to be current gen only, which is wild. But here we are. Let's see. And then Meta, thank you for that 5. I put The Mummy with Brendan Fraser on last night and forgot just how quintessential Hollywood that movie is. Had a great time. Yeah, it is the perfect example of campy, silly, stupid movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. And that's why with this reboot they're doing, I don't know if it's a reboot or a sequel actually, but they're doing another one where they're bringing him back and the original guy's back. I really hope they don't try to make it really serious, because they tried to do that with like I think it was 2017 with Tom Cruise, that one. And it just was not, it didn't work. Like, it's got to be a little campy. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. You know, it's got to be a little stupid, a little cringe at times. It's got to be just fun. Crazy fireball explosions. It's got to have, you know, the like wild mummy that is partially practical effects that just spooks the actual actors on stage. Like, you got to have all of that stuff. Otherwise, it feels inauthentic, you know. It doesn't work. Brendan Fraser was the magic touch. Well, hopefully he's coming in and he can kind of keep that same tone. If you've ever ridden the Mummy ride at Universal Studios Hollywood, that's the vibe that you have to retain in the movies. Yeah, if you got me my cup of coffee. Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. That ride really encapsulates the vibe of what those movies are and what makes them work and why the 2017 movie did not work. You know, that's the key. Okay. Let's talk about this. We have time. I'm going to say something. Sorry. New segment. I'm going to say something that will shock thousands of you. Bank of America is being a little greedy. They're being a little greedy and, dare I say, acting a tad out of touch. Now, I know that's going to come as a surprise and it's going to sound unbelievable. So I need you to bear with me while I describe what's going on, okay? Rockstar should raise GTA 6's price for the good of, quote, the entire industry, end quote, says Bank of America. It's previously been speculated, of course, that GTA 6 could retail for more than $70. And what this article in particular is describing is that a note published by Bank of America around the recent Lycon event in Las Vegas was that Take-Two executives did not endorse an $80 price tag, but noted that considering inflation, the price of video games has fallen over time. Quote, we also heard from attendees that the industry, which is perceived as struggling, would have difficulty selling games for $80 if GTA 6 came out at $70. We think it's in Take-Two's self-interest as publisher and a partner to many developers to raise the price point for the entire industry. It's not the first time that higher price point has been predicted for GTA 6. Notably last year, analyst Matthew Ball of Epillion claimed that there was, quote, hope, end quote, among figures in the games industry that GTA 6 could push the cost up to $100 so that other companies could raise their default prices as well amid global inflation and swelling AAA development costs. Michael Pachter, managing director of equity research at Wedbush Securities, later wrote, quote, we think the company has plans to sell the game at a previously unheard of price point and suspect that management can offer consumers an incentive to pay $100 or more per unit by rewarding them with a large amount of in-game currency to be spent in GTA Online. And of course, if you think all of this sounds crazy, it is important to know that Take-Two, of course, was the original guys to push to the $70 price point. The $60 price point had held steady for years and years. Take-Two was the first to go to 70. I believe, was it NBA 2K, I think, that did it first? It was one of those. So all of these analysts, these people outside of the industry as consumers, but these people on the business side of the industry are hoping that GTA 6 comes and sets a new standard. Yeah, you can hear him. He's barking his mind out. Hounds are loud. Snow days are tough for him because he wants to go out and play, but because he's a hound, he shoves his nose in the snow, and so he gets really cold. And like he gets brain freezes because he basically snorts snow, which is a problem. You can't do that. And so then he like starts yelping. We bring him inside to warm him up. And he's like, no, I want to go out and play. And so we let him out and play. And then he snorts snow and he gets really cold. And then he's like upset. So we bring him in to warm up. And then he's upset that he's not outside. So he's kind of a big baby sometimes. Kind of a big baby. Nikki is juggling him. But yes, it's the wonders of a dog when it snows. Anyway, so all of these different industry figures are hoping that they push past the $70 price point and make $80 minimum the new standard. That's their hope. Whether or not that happens remains to be seen. I think $80 is certainly possible. 90 to 100, I think, would be patently insane. If any game could do it, it would be GTA 6, but time will tell. I think, you know, my sneaking suspicion has always been that they'll either be at $70 or $80 for the base model or base version of the game. But I think that they'll have early access, like 5-day early access or something, that's only available in the $120 or $150 version. And so they'll get the average unit sold price to be way higher by doing that. And then they'll also probably have like GTA Online. It's possible GTA Online could even have its own standalone release. I know that's not been talked about a lot. Based on their statements, it's still technically possible GTA Online is its own standalone, like, $80 game. You never know, okay? You never know. They're talking about the biggest game in the history of the industry. Cost $3 billion to put together. It's not impossible. It's not impossible, okay? So, but what I think is so fascinating about all of this is that it's just assumed if you go to 80 that not only will people buy it for GTA 6, which they probably will, but they will also then be able to do it with all these other games across the industry, and that gamers will also put up with it. But what have we seen since games moved to 70? I think what we've seen is a pretty unified response from gamers across console and PC, where standards have shifted. So the classic example I point to with this is Mafia 3. If you look at Mafia 3, this stat still blows my mind, okay? Everybody knows that Mafia 3 was like a disaster, technically. It was a technical dumpster fire. It was buggy, it was super broken, it reviewed quite poorly. You can see like the actual review scores were in like the 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. They were not good. Like Metacritic on PC was 62 out of 100, okay? 62 out of 100. For most AAA games that launch today, if you launch with a Metacritic score in the 60s, you're in trouble. You're in big trouble. You know, like that doesn't work. You're in trouble. But what happened with Mafia 3? Look at this. This is insane. On November 2nd, 2016, Take-Two Interactive announced that the game had shipped 4.5 million units in its first week. A new launch record for 2K games. By February 2017, they had sold 5 million, and by the end of March 2020, they had sold more than 7 million. Within the first week, they sold 4.5 million copies. Goodwill of Mafia 2? Well, certainly a lot of Mafia fans out there, but my point is, people knew that the game was reviewing poorly and still bought it because they were fans of Mafia. Because the bar was lower, it seemed. What's happened in the years since the $70 price hike, though, is I think standards have risen because when you charge more for something, people expect more. They expect higher quality. They expect the game to be more polished. They expect the game to really earn their $70 price point. And when you launch a game at 60 or at 50 or 40, the standard lowers. You know, you expect the game is probably not going to be that long if it's launching at $30 or $20 or something. And that's okay because you're paying less for it. If you charge $70 for a 3-hour game, we're probably going to have a problem. But if you charge $20 for a 3-hour game, you know, that could work, you know? And so I think as they've raised the price, the expectation has risen and the demands for quality have risen. And the demands for content have risen as well. If they were to raise GTA 6's price to 80, I don't think that's automatically a pass for every studio and publisher around the industry to start charging $80 for their games. I don't think that magically works. Because what's going to happen if GTA 6 launches at 80? The next time a game launches at 80, everybody's going to be like, so it better be as good as GTA 6. And if it's not, I'm not buying it. That's, if you're going to raise the bar with the biggest one in the industry, yeah, you got to meet that bar, okay? I don't know if you're going to be able to get away with, like, maybe with Madden or MLB The Show or like sports games where those customers tend to be much less price like sensitive. Maybe they'll go along with it, but I think certainly in the AAA like single player space, that's not going to work. That is not going to work, especially when everybody you talk to, is already describing how the industry and the hobby is getting too expensive. Like whether you look at Game Pass going to 30, now it's back down to like 22, 23 for premium. Or if you look at, games going up to 70, all of the constant microtransactions that are put in pretty much everything, the push for battle passes, season passes, the push for the deluxe editions and collector's editions, other things like just sheer cost of hardware. In order to play Lego Batman on 4K 60, you straight up need a $4,000 PC. Which is crazy. To play a Lego game in 4K 60, you need a 4K machine. $1 per K. $1 per K. Or $1,000 per K. You get what I'm saying. 4K for the resolution. It's not pixel, but per pixel of horizontal resolution. There you go. Doesn't flow off the tongue as well. And so I think if they were to raise the price to 80, it just will raise the demands of quality. It's not going to be a magical panacea. I don't think people will magically just start shelling out $80 for every game that comes along because GTA 6 did it. I think instead what's going to happen is that standards will be raised. People will go, yeah, GTA 6 charged $80 because it cost $3 billion to make. Did your game cost $3 billion to make? No? Okay, well, I'm not paying $80 for it. Get out of here. It's got to look like it cost $3 billion, by the way. It can't just be that you hired Herman Hulst to buy a studio to make a game nobody wanted, Anyway, I just don't think it magically fixes things. I think a lot of industry analysts think if you just raise the price, magically it'll do stuff because they're just putting it in the spreadsheet. If we actually charge $80 per copy, then our share will be this and our revenue will go up to this. It'll be great. It assumes customer behaviors largely stay the same, and I don't think they will. I think the sheer rage that would happen would be, I think, prohibitively problematic. I don't think it works. Again, GTA 6 can probably get away with it, frankly. I think if they announce tomorrow, trailer number 3, pre-orders open, it's $79.99 for the base model, I think people will still buy it, still pre-order it. We'll talk about it, be like, I don't like this precedent, but it's GTA 6 and it's a $3 billion game. So what are you going to do? But I do think if you saw that like Microsoft or PlayStation say, yeah, Wolverine is $80 now. It's also only 10 hours long. $80. Money, please. Money, please. I don't think that goes over well. GTA 6 gets away with it because it's GTA 6. I don't think everything else magically gets away with it. So I think that that's a bad precedent to set. I think actually the best thing for the industry would actually be to reinvigorate it with some energy and get the money flowing, because right now a lot of people are very, very cautious when buying AAA stuff, and it's because things are so expensive. If they were to come in with GTA 6 and launch it at like 60, bro, that would be freaking amazing. Can you imagine? The internet would melt. Outer Worlds 2 is $80. Well, they initially pitched it at $80 and then they got clowned on so bad. And to be clear, it seems very clear it was not Obsidian's choice to launch at $80. That was a Microsoft thing. So they then eventually walked it back down to 70. But dude, just imagine how the internet would break if they sold GTA 6 for 60. Like, it would just break the internet. But they're not going to do it because I don't think they lose anybody by going to 70. Everybody assumes 70, so dropping to 60, it's like they don't need the goodwill. They don't need vibes. It doesn't matter. They'll be fine. And there's also an interview that just went up from Jason Schreier where he interviewed Strauss Zelnick and talked about some of this stuff that they've been describing. There's a bunch of discussions in here about some of the broader approaches they've taken with things. So, for example, they discuss the new Grand Theft Auto has been in development for more than 8 years by a team of thousands of Rockstar employees, which also marks it as one of the most expensive games ever made. The company doesn't share its game budgets, but the big titles in the industry routinely cost hundreds of millions of dollars, and Grand Theft Auto is estimated to be coming in significantly higher than most. Some analysts have forecasted the new Grand Theft Auto will sell upwards of 25 million units on day one. That means that selling 10 million units, a miraculous figure for most of Grand Theft Auto 6's competitors, would be considered disastrous for this game. Quote, at a lower level, that's true of Take-Two's entire business plan on the console side, Zelnick said. Development costs have gone up, and we really do aim to deliver the highest quality entertainment on Earth, and that is costly. And AI influences notwithstanding, we haven't seen those costs decline yet. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Take-Two's strategy is to make blockbuster games, according to Zelnick. To do that, the company has to spend more freely than rivals who may be targeting a much lower number of units sold. That's a high-stakes game for big boys only, and I'm cool with it. Early indications are that GTA 6 will shatter sales records. The 2 trailers released so far have combined for nearly 500 million views on YouTube, and other big video games are steering clear of November's releases to avoid the competition. We never claim success before it occurs. We have the most amazing creative teams. We not only encourage them to pursue their passions, we insist that they do it. We try to give them unlimited financial, creative, human resources, and then they aim to deliver perfection. Imagine that. We give them unlimited financial and creative and human resources. How much money do you need for GTA 6? You got it. Yeah, got it. Yeah, got it. We don't need it. When asked whether GTA 6 really had unlimited funds, Zelnick joked that his son is getting married in June and, quote, we gave him an unlimited budget and he exceeded it. That's crazy. That's wild. Yeah, I guess I don't know if Strauss I don't think he's a billionaire. I think he's probably got a net worth in the hundreds of millions, but yeah, imagine having that dad to pay the wedding bills. I don't know. I also genuinely don't know how you spend a lot of money on a crap ton of money on a wedding. Like spending $20,000, I can see like a venue will charge $10,000. I get that, but I've seen people who are like, our wedding costs $3.5 million, and you look at it, it's because they rented out Disney World like private event, and it's like, what are we doing? I don't know. The son cares about the wedding. Well, if dad's paying for it, he's probably like, yeah, my wedding gift is a Lamborghini to myself. You know, he's probably traveling. Well, some weddings, I know this is crazy. Some weddings, I've never been to one of these, but I've heard stories of them. They will do location or destination weddings, like in the Bahamas, in Spain, in wherever, and they will fly out and pay for the guests. That's how you know you got money. Like they're paying for international trips for like a guest list of 200 or 300 people to come out to the wedding, which is insane. But those are the same weddings where it's like assume that you're bringing a Rolex as the gift. You know, they're assuming that you're going to basically pay it back in a gift. You know, it's just madness. Yeah, I need more rich friends too. Unlike most competitors, GTA 6 will be released only on the PlayStation, Xbox consoles, although it is expected to offer a version for personal computers later, following the pattern of Rockstar's previous games. This may be a risk for Take-Two given the PC's outsized share of the games market today. When he started at Take-Two in 2007, Zelnick said a release for PCs would make up perhaps 5% of the sales of their basketball series, NBA 2K. Quote, now with regard to a big title, PC can be 45 to 50% of sales, he said. This is him talking in 2026. So PC now is like about half of GTA 6 sales potentially. Why then isn't GTA 6 coming to PC immediately? Quote, Rockstar always starts on console because I think with regard to a release like that, you're judged by serving the core, Zelnick said. Like really serving the core consumer. If your core consumer isn't there, if they're not served first and best, you kind of don't hit your other consumers. Zelnick said the window for console exclusivity was not related to the company's marketing deal with PlayStation maker Sony Group Corp. He said, no, I mean, historically, Rockstar's gone to console first. So he says first, it is coming to PC. Anybody who thinks it's not coming to PC, like it's obviously going to come to PC, but they go to console first. As for core like consumer base, I get what he's saying. I just think this is sort of an antiquated way of looking at it. I think console, 10 years ago, the majority of sales were still going to be on console. People are actively like fleeing console gaming and flooding into PC gaming. Like open market, it's more affordable in the long run, certainly. It's an open platform. It's just a more definitive place that I think is going to continue to be the trend, is that people are going to move away from consoles and flow towards PC. So I just think this is sort of like an old school way of looking at it. I get what he's saying, but I just think, you know, when they started on GTA 6, I think that it was true that console was the core of their audience. But nowadays, like I wouldn't be surprised if the next GTA or the next Rockstar game whatever it is, Red Dead 3 or something totally new, I wouldn't be surprised if it ends up being day and date with everything. Because I just think that this is kind of an antiquated way of looking at it. The other like omnipresent point, let's just be completely real. They get to double dip. There's a lot of console players who also have PCs and will buy the game twice, almost certainly. And if you launch them day and date, they'll just buy it on PC. They'll never get a console version. But if they release it on both, but you stagger it, then you're good. It's a risky decision that might wind up limiting the game's audience, but the good news for Take-Two may be that they get 2 bites at the apple. A console release this November and then a second opportunity whenever the game arrives on PC, which could be a chance to drive more sales and even get some consumers or customers to buy the game twice. We'll see how it works out. I bet we will. Bet we will. I bet we will. It's just one of those things. Like, everybody knows that that's happening and that's a consideration for them. Like, let's not beat around the bush. Like, obviously it's a benefit of taking your time. Like, it's a benefit of taking time between those. But they're never going to say that because it sounds bad. They're never going to say that for obvious reasons. But anyway. PC fanboys crying because of this is hilarious. I mean, I'm sure maybe there are people crying about it, but I think it's not. I think it's not that shocking to me. I think it was always going to go this way, but I do think next time around, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a shift. Personally, okay. Let's see. Do I have time for this? I think we do. Let's see. Hey, Luke, great content as always. Have you seen the reveal trailer for Alien Isolation 2 or the new gameplay trailer for the War of the Worlds Siberia? Thank you, Godsmack, for the 5. I did see, I believe so. I don't think we actually looked at it on stream, actually. I don't think we did. But yeah, like 9 days ago, I don't think we looked at it. Because this is one, unless like a brand new one just dropped. I mean, not much to go on. I think this is why we didn't really look at it, because there just wasn't much to work with. But yeah, In Space, No One Can Hear You gave Alien Isolation a 5.9. IGN has aliens in it, 6 out of 10. Hi, IGN. Just remember 9.5, not 5.9. It's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so not a lot to say about him, but yeah, we'll keep up on him. We'll keep an eye on him. He said you like Spies Arcanum. Thank you for that 5. He said you like some like games. Have you ever played RimWorld? Sim like. I bet it's supposed to be sim like games. Yes, I do like sim like games, and yes, I've played RimWorld. RimWorld's goated and awesome. It's one, like, obviously there's not really a way for me to make my typical type of content for it, so it just doesn't really fit with my content. But yeah, RimWorld is freaking awesome. It's really good. Same with like even a game like Factorio. I eat that up. I love those kinds of games. Alex, thank you for that 5. Hey Luke, what were your initial thoughts on Jason Schreier's interview with Strauss, especially given how the game will sell 25 million copies on day one? Well, that's what analysts have said. Some analysts have said, others are saying 10 million, others are saying 15, some are saying 50 million day one. It's a widespread, and analysts, as we've seen, will say a lot of stuff. You can't really, I mean, there's not really anything preventing them from saying anything. So I don't know exactly where it's going to land. I do think it's going to be a ridiculously massive number, and it's going to be such a massive number of people playing that like the electrical grid in most countries will be strained because so many people will do it. So I think it's going to be outrageously big and successful, but yeah, I think the interview is fine. As we would expect, there's not a lot to say about it, but I think the fact that they're talking about it so willingly and openly with people shows that I think there's no delay anymore. I think it's coming in November. It's locked in. I don't think it's moving. Let's see. What's my favorite trinket in my background? That's a good question. What is my favorite trinket? I love this sword that I got. Sir Radzig's sword. I love the sword. I got it in Prague at KCD Fan Fest, and the madmen over there at Warhorse actually shipped it across the ocean to me here in Colorado, because shocker, customs wouldn't really tolerate me going through customs with a sword, so they shipped it, and that was very, very nice of them. I love that thing dearly. Other things, I mean, obviously my Lego Titanic, I love that thing. There's a lot of good ones, but those that stands out to me probably the most immediately. Of course, the obvious, like the play buttons, those represent major accomplishments and stuff like that, but also the Titus statue, this thing's goated. There's a lot of fun knickknacks, but the sword stands out immediately. When are we getting a studio tour? I just have to do another one. I don't want to do them all the time because the studio doesn't change that much. Oh. And we did one not that long ago. So like once a year, I think makes sense. Probably once a year. It's like a Camry at the same price of an SF90. Charging like $80 for a game when GTA 6 charged $80. Yeah, it's just, if you're going to charge the same price as like the biggest and most expensive game of all time, you're not just raising the floor. I think you're raising the ceiling. I think that's the difference. Like, yeah, the biggest games of the year can launch at 80 now and probably get away with it, or at least there'll still be some blowback, but it doesn't magically make it so anything else can launch there. Like when Microsoft tried to launch Outer Worlds 2 at $80. It was insane. It was like, I think the game looks good. I don't think it looks $80 good. Are you crazy? No. And they walked it back and cut the price because I think that the game wasn't selling anything. I think the pre-orders were abysmal, and so they had to cut the price. Unfortunately, I think it did a lot of damage. I still see people that think that it launched at 80. You know, I can see Witcher 4 at 80. Yeah, I think that they would consider it, but you never know. You never know. Real quick, I want to talk. What should we do first? Do I have time for this? I think I do. Let's do this. I gotta pick my battles. I'm doubting myself now. I'm doubting. Real quick, I'll mention this real quick. This is just a little story. So, if you missed it, new mini segment thing. Okay. So over the last like 2 weeks, there's been rumors and speculation that there was going to be some big reveal with GTA 6 like today. And part of the reason was because Grove Street Games, which you may recall as a studio under the 2K umbrella, under the Rockstar umbrella, they were like previously working on like the GTA trilogy remake, remaster. You know, you go to their website, you see stuff with like Bully listed and stuff like that. And so a lot of people thought that there was something big happening with them, and they were about to reveal something amazing and huge. They revealed what it is, though. It is not that. It is the Beast Link game, where it's a giant multiplayer kaiju experience where humans, vehicles, and colossal beasts collide in urban environments at unprecedented scale, with absolutely everything you see can be destroyed. And little teaser of this. This is what they shared. So no GTA 6. Come on. Come on, Steam. You got one job. You got one job. Come on. Come on.
He said this was the next step of evolution.
new world won't wait. Neither should you.
So no GTA 6. No GTA 6. It could be fun, could be cool. It's there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I'm like, if anybody tells you they have secret information about GTA 6, like, no. I think it's all nonsense. Like, at the end of the day, I just don't. I don't think so. I don't think so. Oh, breaking news here too. Kotaku is reporting. Kotaku is reporting that Build a Rocket Boy behind Mind's Eye has laid off apparently 170 employees in the last week. Only 80 developers remain at the company. Leslie Benzies went from being considered a legend for his work on GTA to running a sinking ship. Wild. The company is also reportedly putting a huge focus on AI. Ben says, not to mention they hired a new AI boss or AI bro as the head of AI. It's never been so over for this company. They're 100% planning to vibe code updates. Management is to blame if they shut down soon. It's definitely not sabotage. Yeah, they're definitely hoping to do that. Again, I can't say I'm surprised. This whole thing, look what I did, Luke. Look what you did, Luke. Yeah, I can't say I'm surprised. This whole thing has been a cluster from the start, and it's just a total mess and disaster. But again, I can't say I'm surprised. They've been like, their leadership has been so delusional when it comes to the performance and sabotage and all sorts of nonsense with the game. They just can't accept reality, which is that the game was undercooked. They rushed it out. It didn't do well because it didn't do well. It's not some massive conspiracy. It just wasn't ready, but they can't entertain that. Apparently that's just, anyway. Yeah. More like train wreck. Yeah, literally. This is the least surprising news of the week. I think it's more surprising they still have 80 devs. Yeah, well, I mean, they are seemingly convinced that they can turn it around and that they can turn around the game and have like a Cyberpunk 2.0 redemption arc. Which I hope they can figure that out. I would love to see the game make a comeback, sure, but I don't know, man. Excuse me. I don't know. I just don't see that being doable. Especially because they're laying people off so that their costs go down, and then they're hiring a new head of AI, which seems to suggest their plan is to just use AI to build the updates as best they can. So I think we're going to see like a plummeting of the quality. Not that it was that high to begin with, but Phantom Blade Zero looks awesome. When do you think we'll get a new trailer? I think probably Summer Games Fest, and we'll get like a release date. That would be my guess. Just makes sense. Did I hear about Kevin O'Leary new data center? I did not. Is there something funny? Maybe there is. If Rockstar sold GTA 6 at $80 and sold 25 million copies, they make $2 billion. Well, remember, it's $80 raw revenue. They're paying probably 20 to 30% to the platform holders like PlayStation Store, Steam, whatever, if when they come to PC, Xbox's store. So they're losing a cut. They're losing 20 to 30% of it there. And then there's also things you got to factor in, like, super fun stuff like taxes. Super fun. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I skipped my coffee this morning and I'm feeling it. My goodness. Anyway, Unearthly Whales, thank you for the resub over on Twitch. Very proud to have launched a game I've been working on for 10 years today called In the Black. Have a great stream, y'all. Glad to hear it, Unearthly Whales. Glad to hear it. That's fantastic. Congratulations. It's amazing. What an accomplishment. In the Black. Is it the early access game on Steam? Let's see. Nuclear-powered space combat in 23rd century. In the Black is an intense, realistic space combat simulator with a serious respect for science. It is laser focused on the pilot experience and features single and online multiplayer gameplay modes, robust ship customization options. Hell yeah, dude. This actually does look pretty baller. Let me show you. I had to look it up on the other screen to make sure it wasn't like a porn game or something, you know, before I pull it up on stream. But no, I mean, maybe it still is a porn game. You never know. But In the Black from a member of the community.
In physics, I could never pass up.
Like a realistic space combat sim. Oh, lots of customization. It's like my favorite part of Starfield, but it's an entire game of that. But with realistic simulation. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. The time is now. The time is now indeed. Hell yeah. If that seems interesting to any of you guys, get over there. Show them some love. Does it have loading screens? Not enough loading screens. 2 out of 10. Yeah, go to community member. Yeah, that's fantastic. If that seems interesting to any of you guys, get over there. Show them some love. Congratulations on launching it. That's incredible. 10 years in the making right there. 10 years. 10 years in the making. That's wild. That's incredible. Congratulations, my friend. Sarah Down, thank you for that one. Thank you. Let's see. Let's see. Major Dookie Juice. Also, I know the name always takes me by surprise. Thank you for the resub on Twitch. I know you don't watch hockey, but let's go Avalanche. I don't. Are the Avalanche doing well? I don't actually know. I have legitimately no idea. Oh, they played one game so far. They played one game. They're 1-0. Yeah, baby. Yeah. I remember being really little and like, I'm not really little. I was probably like 8 or 9 years old and we had one of those like hockey games, NHL hockey games. And I remember we had lived in Minnesota and we moved to Colorado. And so my older brother would always play the Minnesota Wild and I would always play the Avalanche. So seeing these two like verses, you know, it's just very like immediate throwback to me. It's very, very funny. Also, go Ducks. Gotta love the Ducks. Gotta love the Ducks. You gotta love the Ducks. You gotta. Sure do. And the Bears. Have you seen Lay of the Land, Skyrim-like pixel game? Sorry about the other message. Text to speak working. No, yeah, you're good. Lay of the Land. That's super cool. I like that. Fun. I'm scared to let the audio play because and big boss fights too. I love that. I'm scared to let the audio play because you never know with like smaller indie games if they're using like, you know, one of the sounds or audios from like a licensed library, and so you just playing it makes everything get copyright struck. You never know. You know. But that looks pretty solid. That's cool. That's awesome. Any updates on Den of Wolves? Not that I know of. Maybe there is, but not that I'm aware of. Dream game pitch concept. I've outlined it before in some detail, but one I would love to see. There's of course different ones for the scale, budget, the team size, all of that. But if I could just will a game into existence, I would do either like a Rockstar or a Naughty Dog production of a pirate game set in the golden age of piracy, probably following the story of Anne Bonny and Blackbeard. I think it could be freaking amazing. Like deep, dark, cinematic narrative with even like open world levels. I focus on a heavy focus on cinematic set pieces and stuff. I think it'd be freaking awesome, dude. Freaking awesome. Pirates in Egypt. Don't get my hopes up. Egypt is just tricky because Egypt is so massive as like a civilization. There's not really one time period you can select that gets you to enjoy the whole thing. You know, you can pick, 1200 BC. That's cool, but you miss out on all of like the Greek and Roman influences. Okay, so they miss out on that. Oh, that's kind of a bummer. We could go back to when they're building the pyramids, but that, I mean, we're going back to like 2500 BC. So you're going way back, you know, where it might not look anything like it did 1,000 years later, you know. So it's very different. It's very different. It's hard to pinpoint an exact time period. That would be good. It's very much early access. Lay of Lands needs time to cook. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the key. If they can get the support to like continue building on it, they got the hard part seemingly figured out, like the core concept and then the tech. They just have to continue iterating. Okay. Just do a series going over all the time periods, like where there's a creed and then like a group of people maybe that engage in combat against adversaries. They're trying to control the land, and then like you do games and each game is in a different time period, but it's unified by the creed. So there's a connection between all the protagonists. You could do that. Like a series where you can do that. I think you're just describing Skull and Bones. Oh, you're right. Damn it. I thought we were onto something there. Tyler, thank you for that 10. A game idea I had was an Evil Dead game that would continue the story of Ash versus Evil Dead. It would be an open world wasteland like Mad Max. Ooh, you say Mad Max, you tickle my fancy. But you just play as Ash killing demons and possessed. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised there haven't been more games that have tried to take direct inspiration from Mad Max. Mad Max was such like a weird one-off game. It's so good, but it just kind of came and disappeared. Barely anybody ever talks about it anymore. But that's when we need more spiritual successors too. You know, we really need more spiritual successors to Mad Max because they did a really good job with that. They really did. Yeah. Just like my dad, just showed up and then disappeared. I want a Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, and Transformers game. I'm gonna need a storyboard or something. I'm having trouble picturing that, my friend. I'm not sure what that would look like. Court, thank you for that resub for that sub with Prime over on Twitch. Thank you, my friend. Yeah, so Titanfall. Oh, my head, my brain, I can't. Oh my God. Anyway, so I got distracted, shocker. So I don't think we have time to go through the two other things I wanted to go through. We will circle up on these, I think, in the next stream. I want to specifically look at some Witcher 4 tech deep dives, and then there's also Kiwi Talks did a collection of interviews specifically talking about Neil Druckmann and what has happened to Naughty Dog over the last few years. So it's going to be very interesting, but we kind of ran out of time, so we will leave it there, my friends. Much love. Gothic 1 Remake. I would love to talk about Gothic 1 Remake. In fact, I might have the chance to talk about it soon. You never know. Life is short and exciting, is it not? Life is short and exciting. You never know what might pop up. So anyway, much love, everybody. I will be back on, I was going to say Tuesday, but today is Tuesday. Wednesday, there may or may not be something happening tomorrow afternoon. I've heard rumblings that there might be something. I don't know for sure. So we might be here tomorrow morning. If I get more confirmed idea that something is happening tomorrow, we'll just stream on Thursday so we can cover everything that happened. So it's in the air, but we'll do it. Okay. Either way, we'll be back soon. Okay. Much love. Have a fantastic afternoon or evening wherever you are. I will see you soon. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.